about today. Doc, you have the floor.
All right. Good morning, colleagues. I'm so delighted.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here this morning. Please, am I audible? If I'm audible, kindly let me know. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
All right.
We can hear you. Audible, sir.
Thank you. In a minute, let me see if I can show my face. Wow. The camera. Just a minute. Okay. The camera seems acting funny, but no problem. I'm quite sure that a number of people on this call have had one reason or the other to have one or two things to do with us at Research With Me Academy. I want to also say a very big thank you to Dr. Enebe Ngozi for that wonderful introduction of the company and the rendition of my profile. Colleagues, I'm going to switch on my camera perhaps in the next phase. I mean, in one of the sections that we're going to have this morning. It's going to be an intensive one, as we have said earlier. Please take a seat, have a glass of water close by, have your pen or writing pad to jot necessary points that may resonate with you in this call. As Dr. Enebe just mentioned, we just concluded a 6 weeks program. It was a fantastic one, and I can see a number of people here who were part of that training. They can attest to some of the testimony that we read out to you, and I also want to believe that we're up on everyone on this call this morning, as long as you are attentive and you are ready to pick one or two things from today's training. So, colleagues, let's dive into the training. I will be sharing my screen right now. Let me share my screen. Please, if my screen is visible to you, kindly let me know. Can you see my screen?
Yes, you can. Yes, I can see. It is.
All right. Today we'll be talking about strategies for completing postgraduate thesis in record time. I want to plead with everyone that we should please keep to the housekeeping rules highlighted by Dr. Nebe. Please, let's keep our mouth muted, or in the interest of orderliness and prevention of interruption, I think what I will do is I am going to change the rule of this engagement by allowing only me to be able to speak, because we keep having a lot of echoing from different backgrounds. So in order to have a good housekeeping, I'm going to end this meeting in a moment. Please just hang on. I will change the rule so that everybody will be muted except you are allowed to talk. I think with that, everybody will have a good time. So kindly permit me to end the call in a moment and change the rule. not comfortably seated. All right, colleagues. As I earlier indicated, I think it would be better if I can control the mic from this side. All right. Please sit tight. We're starting right away. And I also need to state this, that this training is going to be useful for supervisors as well as postgraduate candidates in our midst. We're going to run through some background checks for ourselves to actually evaluate ourselves, in the sense that if we don't know what our roadmap is, what our blueprint is. Please, is my screen? Let me allow everybody to talk for a moment so that you can confirm that you can hear my screen. Please, if you can see my screen and if you can hear me, kindly let me know. Let me know with an emoji. If you can, let's just do it that way. Please, if I'm audible, please let me know. And if you can see my screen, kindly let me know also, so that we will know we are on the same page. If you can hear me, if you can see my screen, please let me know via the emoji. Cannot see my screen. All right. What about now, please? If you can see it, please let's have an emoji from one or two people, or you drop a chat. All right. Please, my screen, kindly confirm if you can see my screen. I've shared now on. Okay, people can see it. Thank you. As I was saying, we are looking at strategies for completing postgraduate thesis in record time, whether we call it thesis or dissertation, whatever it is in your parlance. We're still talking about almost the same thing, though one seems shorter than the other. Nevertheless, let's adopt the thesis as our working keyword for today. As I've been introduced, I'm Dr. Obi Shashere. Today we are going to be looking at the strategy for completing postgraduate studies or thesis in record time. Experience has shown that many postgraduate students are lost at some point in their studies for various reasons. Some also abandon the studies. While abandoning studies, while the student gets stuck, there are a lot of reasons for this. And but before we dive into that, we need to actually ask one or two questions, which has to do with the motive for enrolling in a postgraduate studies. If the motive is well established, and you can see yourself in the picture of what is going on vis-a-vis your study at the moment, maybe that can have a change of orientation, or that can engineer or trigger a change of attitude and orientation towards the program. Why do people engage in postgraduate studies? People have different reasons for that. But we are going to look at what research has told us and what experience has shown us, and how this can enable you to reposition yourself towards completing on time and having strong, impactful thesis at the end of the day. In a moment, colleagues, I encourage you to just have a reflection. Why did I enroll for a postgraduate studies? Why did I enroll for a master degree? Why did I enroll for a PhD program? Is my why strong enough? Because if your why is not strong enough, if your motive is not strong enough, you are going to, it's most likely you are going to go through two things. Number one, when the going becomes tough, you won't have enough resilience to pull through. Two, you are in danger of dropping out. If not three, the danger of extended program beyond the required window. For masters, 18 months. In some parlance, master is for 1 year. In another parlance, master is for 18 months, while PhD can be completed in 2 years. If really I completed my PhD barely, if not because for a little bit of skirmishes, it will have been 2 years. It is acceptable that it's acceptable that you can complete your PhD within 2 years if you really give it all it takes. And I'm also aware that there are balances, or there are areas, there are quarters whereby if you your thesis is ready at the end of 2 years, they will not graduate you because they believe a PhD study should be 3 years. So if you complete your thesis in 2 years, they won't allow you to graduate. They will just want to mark time. And I must say, with every sense of modesty and respect to such institution, there is no rule that say PhD should be 3 years. There is no rule like that. It is just an institutional makeup. So it is possible to finish your PhD in 2 years. So it now depends on you, and what can carry you through is your motive, your why. And of course, having a good supervisor is also a very big plus if you want to attain or achieve such heights, such feats. Let me allow the mic for a moment to be sure that participants are listening. Hello, participant, please, are you following? Your mic is on mute. Your mic is unmuted.
Yes, I'm listening.
Oh,
Yes, sir. We are following you.
Thank you. So there is no rule. Please, if you can maintain this decorum, I will allow the mic to be on, because we want this training to be interactive as much as possible. So, you will agree with me. I don't know if there's anybody in the house or in this call who have witnessed somebody that completed PhD thesis in 2 years. Has anybody witnessed that? Hello? Has anybody witnessed or seen an individual who completed PhD in 2 years? Within 2 years.
Yes, sir. I've heard of it.
You've heard of it. So I have a witness. I have a witness in the house. So what I'm saying, once in a while. Thank you. It is still part of it. 50-50. Yeah. All these are functions of.
I've seen one before.
Thank you. All these are functions of many factors. Your why as a candidate, your supervisor, and the institution. These three factors have a role to play. Nevertheless, it will be more beneficial to you as an individual if your why is strong enough, and you have a good supervisor, you can complete it in 2 years, maximum 2.5 years. So we're going to be looking at how to achieve this, even if the supervisor is dragging, even if the institution is not, if the rule of the institution, the bottleneck created by institutions, I'm using that word carefully. If the rule of the institution is to state that you cannot proceed or complete your program within 2 years, for reason best known to them, you yourself can complete it and keep it and give it to them as at the time they need it. We are still having some incursion in the house, particularly from OM Victor. Please mute yourself. So let's quickly run through this. So please, I'm going to mute everyone. I want you to have a reflection. What is keeping you? Of these 3 factors that I've just mentioned, which one is really, really keeping you? There are many of them anyway. I just mentioned 3. Your why, is it strong enough? Number 2, your supervisor, is it responsive? You can't do anything about that. We're going to talk about how to relate with supervisors. You can do some things about it, but you cannot force your supervisor. That's just the truth. And number 3, what is the institutional bottleneck that you are experiencing, particularly in terms of the rule guiding graduation? And also, are you really going through technical issues such as not having enough literature or not having guidance? And colleagues, I must say that postgraduate studies, particularly when it comes to article writing, is such that is a lonely journey. It's a journey that you undertake all alone because there is no curriculum for that. Some institutions have some structured programs whereby the first semester you do coursework, they take you through some research related, and of course your field of study content curriculum. But nevertheless, there is, by the time you get to a point after first semester for master students, particularly in typical Nigerian institution and some other neighboring countries, African countries, you go through structured coursework, and after that it becomes a one-on-one affair between yourself and your supervisor. And in that case, people experience differ, and it's more or less that your study become a silo whereby you are the one that charts the course and you are the one that follow through. And in many cases, you don't have the opportunity. If one does not have a good supervisor, let me not say good supervisor, but a supervisor who does not have his plate full, because the truth of the matter all over the world is that supervisors are overloaded and they are very meager. There is shortage of supervisors across board, both in developed, underdeveloped, and developing countries. Supervisors are limited, and those that are available are overloaded with a lot of activities and responsibilities. So in this case, many postgraduate students suffer from insufficient support from supervisors. And it is not, you don't blame the supervisors for that, because they also have their lives to live, they have families, they have issues to attend to. But in my own case, having gone, I have good supervisors both in my master's and my PhD level. They were just there for me. I really thank God for that. But I can tell you, not up to 50% of candidates postgraduate candidates enjoy that benefit of having good supervisors. So in this case, what happened? What do you do? So what you need to do, since it's your journey, it's your personal affair, all you need to do is to sit down and re-strategize. And what we are doing today is going to fill that gap. Because when supervisor is overloaded, even if he knows his own news, even if he is very vast and established in that field, he has little or no time for you. So as a result of this, you will have to hold the bulls by the horns. That is, you will have to prove to the supervisor that you are not a liability. I'm just laying this background because many people suffer setback and inability to complete on time, shifting the blame sometimes on supervisors. It's not always on supervisors. It is because those supervisors are also busy. So in that case, you need to equip yourself with skills that will enable you to finish in record time. And colleagues, supervisors love candidates that know what they are doing. No supervisor is ready to babysit a postgraduate student. That is just the truth. So by the time your supervisor sees that you are on top of your game, if I can use that word informally, by the time your supervisor knows that this person knows his or her honors, he will be ready to read your work because he knows that he will have less issues, reading your work. I have a lot of supervisors in the house this morning. I know a number of them, and they can confirm with me that it is difficult to correct a poorly written work. You even avoid it as a plague. You don't want to read it because it's as good as writing those works. Let me allow the mic and see if I have supervisor in the house who can bear me witness. Supervisors don't like reading a work that has no shape, no direction. Supervisors, please, can you bear me witness in the house? The mic is on. Hello, everyone.
You are right. In most cases,
okay.
It becomes worse when the student is also incorrigible.
Oh, thank you. So
when you are trying to explain the way to follow,
yes,
and he's telling you that is that rigid way that he has discovered that is the best.
You see now.
You tell him what to do, if it's right, he will go back and still bring back the same thing.
Okay.
So next time you see his work, ignore it. Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Before we continue,
all right.
Doctor, please, before we continue, can you hear me?
Clearly.
Please, I can't see your screen. I just saw OS. Have you put anything on it? I can't see.
Not yet. Not yet. We are still laying background. Thank you for that.
No problem.
We are just, yes, those people who have attended our trainings, we know that we like stretching some things that are, though not seemingly, how do I put this now? They might not seem as if we are doing things actively in the training, but the nuggets, the ideas that we chip in that are responsible for failure, they are priceless. If we can get these ideas as to how our studies get delayed, then we can fix them. So, for instance, I'm sharing. Why are you not seeing my screen? Is my screen on now? Hello, colleagues?
Yes.
Aha.
Yes,
so,
it
is on.
All right. So,
Your screen is on.
yes.
Your screen is on.
Thank you. If a problem is defined, then it's sure that 50% the problem is solved. So many people are fighting with they are quarreling with their supervisors without necessarily knowing some of the things I'm talking about, because supervisors have their life to live. They are under pressure. They are in limited supply and they are overloaded. If you understand this, instead of you blaming your supervisor, the right thing to do is to equip yourself with skills that will enable you to present yourself or your work to him or her in a way that he will be ready to read your work. And personally, as a person, one of the strategies I adopt as a supervisor, I supervise honors and postgraduate students, is that at the beginning of, when students are assigned to me, I sit them down. So I train them in the act of thesis writing. We have agreements on these are the topics you want to work on. These are the framework. I mean, these are the structure that will work for you. This is the approach that will work for you. And once we have an agreement on that, then I sit them down, I train them collectively for those who have similar approach and how to pull through. So when they are writing, it becomes easy for me. The issue of front and back is limited. But a situation whereby a supervisor is assigned students and all he does is go and get topics, which there's nothing wrong about that. But the fact remains that when the student starts writing, if they don't have any form of training, it becomes harder for you as a supervisor, because there is no structured training for, in many cases, I can say that confidently, structured training on how to go about thesis. And the student is doing a topic that has no curriculum. So you are charting the course on your own and you are throwing it at the supervisor, and the supervisor is saying, no, this is not what I want. The supervisor know what is ideal. Let me just put it that way. Know what is ideal and expect you to write what is ideal, but you are not trained in the act of what is ideal. So in this case now, you will find out that you will have a lot of rejections. You write, you submit, the supervisor will say, no, this is not good enough. Go and try again. You have not read enough. Go and try again. This theory or system does not align with the study. Go and try again. The introduction is not large enough, or the length is too short. Go and try again. By the time your student do this over and over, 2, 3, 4, when chapter 1 gets rejected, or a proposal, for example, or if chapter 1 gets rejected over and over again, there is a way it affects the student confidence and morale. And as long as this cycle keeps going on, students tend to drop out or have the program elongated. Then it will now become an issue of my supervisor is just too thorough for me, or the guy is too wicked. Once in a while, when he reads my work, everything is about negative. Now you can see some of the reasons why people stay late or don't finish their program on time, because the students are not trained and the supervisors are overloaded with responsibilities. And also on the part of supervisors, also I must say, not all supervisors are also grounded in the act of supervision. That is the truth. Please don't quote me to your supervisor. Just know it. And once you are able to know this, then the training you are going to receive today and maybe subsequently will help you to overcome that challenge of having supervisor who is not knowledgeable enough in your area and without necessarily being rude. By the time a supervisor, even that supervisor is not knowledgeable in your area, but the moment he sees you are presenting something good, an average supervisor knows what is good. But sometimes they may not be able to lead you. But if you lead yourself, you are in a good track. So this admonition, if I can use that word, is very important for today's training. So if your case up till now has, a bearing on some of the things I have said, I want to believe that by now you should be having a reposition of mind and perspective towards your study, rather than blaming your supervisor. I want to believe that you will be able to put your finger on one or two things. Colleagues, I proceed. There is a rule that guides every trade, of which thesis writing is not an exemption. Thesis writing is not an exemption. If you master the rule of the game and the tools, writing a thesis becomes easy. As I said earlier, many people are not trained in the art of writing, even though during the coursework in some schools, the research methodology is being taught, but the manner, the approach for teaching it does not in many cases is not in many cases indicative of how different parts of a thesis are stringed together. And that is what we are looking at. So there are rules and there are tools that guide thesis writing. As you can see on the screen, here you can see a mechanic. A mechanic and an academic on one side. If your car breaks down anywhere, even in the midst of nowhere, in the bush, in the forest, and you call a mechanic, if the superior is very busy and recommends a younger one, an apprentice, to go and fix your car, you can be sure the moment that apprentice asks you, what are the symptoms? What did you see? What was the last sign before the car stopped? If you're able to describe that accurately, that the apprentice will know the right tool to pick along. It won't carry the entire toolbox, but it will only carry the toolbox that can fix your car. Academics should be the same. That when you select a topic, you should know what is the research question that I should ask. What is the method that will put through? What theory or framework or system can I adopt that will enable me to answer this research question or to fill the gap that I want to fill? Very important. But when it comes to academics, because we are not trained, you can see the mechanic is smiling, but the academic, is, worried because there is a rejection. So how do we overcome this? We can only overcome this through training. There's a need for training, and that is why I'm happy that you are exposed to this kind of training this morning. There is a need for training. Knowledge will take you far, and we cannot overstretch it. Whatever is giving you problem, it might be because you are not knowledgeable in that area. What is giving you challenges might not give other people challenges because they are well knowledgeable in that area. So training is essential. And so let's move forward. So colleagues, what is your motivation? And what are the challenges you are confronting at the moment? And how does it have implication on you finishing your thesis for masters, 12 months or 24 months for PhD students? We're going to look at a couple of things. I'm going to be very fast now because I don't want us to, we have taken some time and I want us to catch up with time. These are the expected outcomes in this session. This training comes in different sessions. Please, I hope I'm not too fast, even though I'm trying to strike a balance. I hope I'm not too fast for you. Hello?
Okay, you're okay.
All right, thank you.
You are okay.
Yeah, okay, sir.
All right, thank you. So
please, I can't see anything on the screen.
Please restart, refresh your page. Please, can others see what we have anything on the screen? Can you see something on the screen?
Yes.
Please,
We can follow.
Yes.
please restart your screen.
She should select a gallery view.
Okay. So
Select your view. Gallery, please.
thank you. I want us to get something right. If we are able to get some of this background right, everything will fall in line. So let's find out what are the reasons. Why do people enroll for master and PhD? Let's know what is the actual reason. We're going to find out their demotivation. Like I said earlier, postgraduate study is a lonely journey. You're on your own, 100%. Nobody will motivate you. You except motivate yourself. And that motivation and resilience can only come when your why is well defined and is strong enough to pull you through. If you don't have enough why, you are going to have an issue along the line, even in the face of little distraction or challenge. So then what are the structural, institutional, and personal challenges facing postgraduate? The way we can map practical strategy that can help you to complete within a record time. So why do you start? What is your why? Your reason is very important. And so we've talked about that. Now, some of the reasons why people enroll for master and PhD in African context. What we try to do is to make a comparison between what is happening in African context, developing countries, and developed countries. People enroll in postgraduate studies for career and employment reason, for economic gain, for social mobility and family expectations, just to meet family expectations, for prestige and status, just to get respect from people. Then, academic interest and personal growth. Colleagues, if the first four are your motivations, you are likely to drop out or have an elongated program because they are not strong enough to pull you through. So, if you say, or let me just put it this way, career and employment. I've seen people who embark on postgraduate study, PhD, because they want promotion. But the fact remains that not every one of them is able to pull through. I've seen a lecturer that has been on PhD for 5 years, 6 years, but because salary is still coming, they don't see it as something that is necessary. For economic gain, salary and all that, if somebody says, okay, I want to have better salary, I want to, maybe you are employed as assistant lecturer or as the very first level of entry in academia, one can say, oh, I want to get a PhD so that I can become a lecturer too. But at the same time, as long as you are still receiving salary, it may not be enough motivation. And of course, it varies. It's arguable. Prestige and status, this is even out of it, because somebody that sees PhD or master as prestige and status does not see it as something that is so necessary to be committed to and give it all it takes. But when it comes to having academic interest and personal growth, you can be sure that this set of people who who embark on postgraduate studies have the tenacity, they have the strength to confront any form of challenge that come their way during their studies. So it is good enough for you and I to look at this what is your motive and reposition. Number two, okay, some of these I have covered. Some of these intrinsic motivation is for personal growth. Please let me mute everybody. It's for personal growth, and
want to distract, and I don't like it.
if your motive has to do with growth, personal growth, and love for knowledge, which is intrinsic in nature, then you can be sure that you will pull through and overcome any form of challenge. Of course, we know that in many African countries, the reason why people enroll in PhD or postgraduate studies are, to a very good extent, about the first four: unemployment, having a pay rise, prestige, and all the rest of them. But we are talking about what can carry you through, what can help you to pull through. That's what we are talking about. So, now, when it comes to motivations for embarking on postgraduate studies in high income or developed countries, you see reasons such as specialization and expertise. That is, they want to know more in that area, they want to deepen their knowledge, and also they want to have a career in research. And not only that, professional advantage, of course, higher position, better salary, stronger CVs. Intellectual passion, which is like the fourth one we talk about in African context or developing countries. And career switch and reskill into new sector. As a matter of fact, people change careers. I keep saying something to people that one of the challenges we have in many African countries, which I will not mention a name for now, is that we always believe that you must be a specialist in an area. That is, your first degree must be in a particular field, and it must align with your second degree, and it must align with your third degree. There's nothing wrong with that. But that does not mean that having attained the third degree, you can still embark on another PhD just to widen your knowledge. The more you restrict yourself to an area, the narrower your mind becomes. And you will agree with me that at PhD level, you are narrowing down. But we are not created to have a narrowed mind. So saying that I'm a specialist in this, I don't know anything about that, is an aberration to a PhD holder, or to even somebody that enrolled in postgraduate studies. So ideally, we should be ready to expand our mind in a way that will enable us to, you can be experts in any area. the fact that I study a particular discipline does not mean that I cannot still operate in another discipline. That's the limitation. So our limitation should be good enough, sound enough to carry us through. I don't want to waste much time on this. We have a lot to talk about. And so let's look at the ideal reason. Not all motivations are equally helpful when the research becomes difficult. So we have said this. So you need to get it right. The ideal reasons should support persistence. If your reason is ideal, it will align with personal and social goal, and it will reduce burnout. If you get it right, for example, if you set out to make a change or to achieve a particular thing, for example, if you are in the field of engineering and you set out to study at the postgraduate level, if you have identified a problem earlier that you want to solve, you've seen it, that maybe from experience you've gone through industry and you see that the practice that a particular practice is not adopting the right that is, if there are issues around a particular practice in an industry that you love, and you have seen that there is an issue with efficiency, or there are better ways things can be done if a particular technology is adopted, you will agree with me that spotting that problem and the implication of solving that problem will drive you through that program. And by the time you are done, you are ready to implement. And let us get something straight here. One of the reasons why people have issues when it comes to things like this is because many times we select topic at postgraduate studies just for the purpose of finishing a degree or having a degree. But colleagues, research has gone beyond having a degree alone. Don't just start a postgraduate study because you want to have a degree. If you start a postgraduate study with the mindset that this study I'm embarking on can translate to a product or a service, your motivation would be out of the roof. And don't always think that a product or a service not all product or services need high capital, because the argument has always been in African context, your thesis is only useful in the library. It does not have societal impact. We need to change this orientation. If you start a postgraduate study with an end in mind, to convert your thesis not only to a paper, but to convert your thesis to a product or a service that you yourself can deploy after the program, your motivation will be out of the roof. So it is better we stop approaching thesis writing from the point of view of acquiring a degree. Gone are the days. In developed countries, you find out that many of the social media platforms we use today, some of them are PhD thesis outputs. Many of them are projects developed by postgraduate students. So we can't begin to mention names or count them. But what I am trying to say is to both supervisors in the house this morning and the supervisees who are in the house, when you are starting, because when we run through those who enroll for this study, for this training, we have about 360 or 370 people that enroll for this training this morning. And when we did the analysis of the people that are registered, we found out that over 60% are still at the proposal level, which is a beautiful thing. So what does this suggest to you? What this suggests to you is that go and sit back and see how you can refine your thesis title, the focus of your work, in a way that can translate to either a product or a service. And I must say at this point, we are in the world of AI. The strength and the effort is going to cost you to come up with ideas, to come up with products, is being reduced if not up to 60-70%. You can't say you don't have an idea anymore. So there are people that after finishing their PhD, their thesis translate to product and services. Personally, as a person, I have developed a training from my thesis that will be of benefit to practitioners in my field. You can as well do the same. If you finish your PhD while designing, what's going on? Am I the one who is off or something? How do you offer? So, hello, colleagues, can you hear me now?
Partially.
What about now? Please, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
All right.
You are.
All right. Thank you. So,
Now hear you.
can you?
Now hear you.
Some can hear me, some cannot. But I think I'm audible. Maybe those who cannot hear me still have network issues or something. So, I hope I'm audible, please. So, what I am saying.
Yes, you're
Okay. So, what I'm saying is, please sit down with your supervisor. Sit down with your supervisees, because it is going to be of benefit to you if your study culminates in product or service. And we are talking about motivation for enrolling in a program. If your motivation is not strong enough, it will have an impact on how you pull through. That's what we are talking about. So, colleagues, we are moving forward. So in developed countries, people have reasons for embarking on postgraduate studies, and those reasons are strong enough and they serve as their motivation. So let us try to get it right at that point. Excuse me. We have ideal and societal center reason. Ideal student center reason and societal reasons. If you as an individual, if you are concerned about intellectual curiosity and you are able to define the problem you want to solve, it will drive you. If you are committed to the community or a sector, like I've said, it will drive you. If you want to advance, research skill in a way that is beyond just thesis, it will see you through. And of course, if you have a long-term career vision, it will also pull you through. So, colleagues, let me quickly go through. Let's move, because of our time, to the meat of the matter without necessarily wasting time. How do you complete your program in record time? Let me start by saying that a thesis, let's get it right, or a dissertation, or even an article is a storyline. It is a storyline. When I say a storyline, it simply means the moment you start by identifying a gap. That gap you have identified must lead you to ask questions. And when you ask that question, there must be an objective of what you want to achieve. What exactly do you want to achieve? Which that question will respond to. In some fields, they use hypothesis. In some, research question. In some, postulation. In some, aims. In some, objectives alone, regardless of your field, because I am aware that the nomenclature differs from one institution to another, from one field to another, from one department to another. So the first thing to do is identify a gap that your study can be based on. And one of the challenges that candidates have is they don't know how to identify a gap. And that is why people will keep saying, how do I identify a gap? What do I want to write on that people have not written about? That's not true. You can identify gaps in many ways. And in our training, we cover that extensively. I must say that, let me quickly point out one or two ways through which you can identify a gap. Number one, you can identify a gap by observation. If you identify a gap by observation or experience, such must also be established in literature. Identify a gap, but make sure that you have literature to support it. That is true observation and personal experience. Number two, you can establish a gap via literature by ensuring that you go to the literature and find out what others have not covered. So how do you do this? When you pick an article, or let me put it this way, if you identify a journal as a postgraduate student, it is expected that you are abreast of the top journals in your feed. As I'm talking right now, I want you to type into your browser. Just open Google on your browser and type top 10 journals in my feed. Put your feed there. Please, am I audible?
No.
I'm not audible.
The network is fluctuating.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Your word is breaking.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, thank you. So what I'm saying is that we are starting from the very foundation. I know the participants in this call are mixed participants. Some, because everybody is at different levels. Some, they are still doing their proposal. Some are writing their chapters. Some are rounding up. Some are supervisors. But I just want us to have a common ground to run through, starting from the scratch, identification of gap. And I'm saying there are different ways to identify a gap, particularly for those doing PhD. One of the questions the examiner will ask you is, what have you contributed to this field? Or what gap are you filling? So in that case, it is very essential that you are able to know how to identify a gap. So how do you identify a gap? I said, one, by observation or through experience. For example, if you work in a factory, or if you in any industry, let me just put it that way, whether you are an engineer, you are a medical doctor, or you are in medical field, or in social work, education, just mention it. Challenges abound, and it does not mean that these challenges have not in one way or the other been attended to, but the approaches through which these challenges or problems were studied differs. So there will always be a way for you to plug in. And now that is true observation. For example, if you are in business management, for example, and you find out that in your area there are a lot of SMEs and some of them have good they have good initiatives, but their problems seem to be finance. You can carry out a research to actually find out what can this set of people do if there is availability of fund. If you are in medical science and you find out that people seem to be to be at home with alternative therapy other than going to the hospital, you can carry out a research. Why exactly do people, why do people in my area, or where do people generally, going by observation, why do they prefer orthodox or local medicine? And does that mean that people have not carried out such research before? No. A lot of people have carried out such research. What can make a difference in your work might be the approach, the methodology you want to adopt. Perhaps previous studies have majorly focused on quantitative approach, but now you want to use a qualitative approach. Majority of the existing studies they focus on qualitative. Now you want to use mixed method. That's a contribution. So, and the coverage, your coverage also matters. So a number of things can make a difference in your work. The gap you want to fill, there are different types of gap. We have methodological gap, we have theoretical gap, we have practice, we have gap in practice, we have non-consensus gap, and a number of them, about 7 of them. So it depends on where you want to key in. And I'm trying to allay the fear of what gap am I feeling. There are 7 of them. You should be able to key into one. Still talking about observation as a source of gap identification. 2, you can also identify a gap through literature. As I was saying, in your field, how do you know what is the latest research? What is the latest issue, the latest research issue in your field? Are you aware of it? If no, then I said go to Google, type top 10 journals in my field. That was my last instruction. This is an activity now. Please, I want everybody to go to do that right now. I'm going to allow Mike. Please, in the next 1 or 2 minutes, please go to Google, type top 10 journals in your feed. Put the name of your feed there. Are we doing that? Hello, colleagues. Hello.
Yeah, which is that?
All right.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
All right. Top 10 journals in my field. Are we doing that?
Yes, sir. We have done that.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
we are.
Okay. Now, you will see that those journals will be listed. Why do you have to do this? You want to know which issue is latest in that field. So what you do is you would, let me just do something, please. Let me stop sharing this screen and share my screen and share another screen. Just a moment. Stop sharing. Let me share this. All right. Can you see my Google screen?
We are seeing
Yes.
it. No, sir.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
All right.
Yes.
Top then.
Yes, we can see it.
All right. Let's see. Top 10 journals in human resource management. So, if your Chrome, if you are using Chrome and your Chrome is AI enabled, you will see some of the things I have on the screen, And so as you can see, these are journals. These are lists of journals that are the top in that area. So what do? Go to that journal. Let's look at another. Okay, let's we can do it this way. Another thing we can do is that if you don't want to use that approach, you can as well use Schemago. Schemago is a website where journals that are indexed by Scopus are listed in quantile, that is in hierarchy of quality. You can use Google, you can use that, whichever way. Just come up with an idea of the best journal in your area. So now let's pick this International Journal of Human Resources, and let me go there. If I click on it, it's going to display what I have on the screen. In your own case also, it will display the latest issue. If it doesn't display the latest issue, just go to browse all articles and issues, latest articles or current issue. So click on any of them, either latest articles or current issues. You will see editorial. Go to the editorial. By the time you read the editorial, you will see the editorial always explain the summary of the issue at hand. So if you go to that place, you can see editorial review or whatever name is given to it. Just click on it. I'm coming. Latest articles, current issues. Let me go to current issues. The editorial, we usually have the editorial. I'm coming. If it's not a subscription based, I'm trying to get these journals, this issue, and the editorial review. I'm unable to access this now. Hello? So if you look at, there are two ways to go about it. You can just look at those issues, the current issue of that particular journal. If you look at the issues, the type of and the title of the articles published there, that will give you an idea of what the current issue is, because in many cases those issues are called for people to contribute. There will be scope. So with that, you can, just a moment please, I'm trying to look at this. Editorial board, instruction for authors, no, not that. Latest issue, most cited, trending most. Not editorial board, about journal, browse all this, not that. Where they are located on, I just did this randomly. Where they are located in journals differs. Some you will see it expressly. So this is talking about the aims. Many journals will ensure that the current issue is clearly indicated, so that whoever wants to read, we know that, okay, this is the current issue. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that through editorial review of every issue, you can get to know what is the current issue in your field. That's just what I'm saying. This is proving so stubborn now, but normally those things are not always they are not always hidden. So that's that about that. Another way you can get to know it is that if you have selected a title or a topic, I will have said we should try and get more now, but our time is, I don't want to keep up for too long, but just take note. Through editorial review, you can get to know what is the latest issue. If you read it, it's going to show you the summary of all the articles that are in that issue. So with that, you will have an idea of this is what is abreast of this is what is the latest issue in my field, and that is why it is called issue. Then another way to get to know a gap is through identification of gap using gap matrix. In our previous training, we allow people to, let me quickly share this tab. We allow people to, those who enroll have dashboard. In that dashboard, we gave them what is called gap identification matrix. Gap identification matrix let me just open one. Sorry, just a minute. Assignments. Okay. So, I'm opening this now. What that will enable you to do is when you read articles and you want to establish gaps through them, what you do is the moment you open an article, let me just open any of the articles in this place. Every article that is ideal, every good article have what is called limitations. So if, for example, you have selected a topic, that topic you have selected, you have to go and search literatures using some keywords. By the time you download those articles, you will see a section called limitation of the study. If it is not a section, it is going to be okay. Let me open this, for example. I've opened this. Let me view it in PDF. What I'm driving at is, as the number 3 way of identifying gap, every article that is good enough, sound enough, have research limitation. So if you don't have it in any study, it simply means that study still is lacking in an area. And what is that area? Not declaring their limitation. Let me quickly go through this. You will see the limitation in discussion session, or you will see it as a stand-alone part of that article. Let me search. Let me just use some limitation to search. Limitation. Okay, let's look at that. Just a minute. I'm searching so that it can be fast. All right, please, can you see my screen, please? Okay, I'm sharing the screen. Please, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, please. Can see it.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. My
apology.
apology. All right, my apology if it seems as if I'm fast. There are still a lot of things to be covered. I'm sorry. Now, when you look at this article, you will see that these authors clearly acknowledge their limitations, the limitation of the study. This limitation of the study is a gap. Now you can see that we have mentioned three things. Number one, you can identify gaps in studies by observation, by reading the editorial review of any issue in the top journals in your field of study. And you can also establish gaps by the time you establish the title of your work and you have research questions and you are now searching for literature and you have seen literatures that match or articles that match your area of interest. Go and look for limitations. Just if you know, there are the way people writing style differs, but a very good article will devote a time or a space rather, either as a stand-alone session, which is always towards the end of the article, or in the discussion session. Either of the two, you will have limitations acknowledged. And this is to tell you also that when you are writing, whether it's an article or you are writing a thesis, you must acknowledge the limitation of your study. You cannot say you want to study mental health now and you cover everything about mental health. No. It's either your limitation may have to do with the coverage, it may have to do with the population you are dealing with, it may have to do with the research approach that you adopted, or the scale that you use to collect data. So you must acknowledge your the study limitation. As you can see on the screen, it reads limitations. We acknowledge that while the single case design allows in-depth exploration of FHW implementation and introduce new concepts, its limit is generalizability. You can see now from what you see on this screen simply means that this study adopted a case study. It's a case study. The research approach is case study. So that is to tell you that if a study adopts a case study design, a single case study design, there are multiple case study designs, simply means it's most likely that this study just focus on one organization, maybe school or whatever, or one establishment, a company, and they carry out a research based on that. They cannot generalize it. It simply means that you as an individual have identified a gap, because in that organization the number of people that were interviewed were limited. So they cannot say what is obtainable in that industry is general across board. So in that case, there is a need for a study that might be used. Now look at how they concluded. Look at the further stuff. It says, we therefore encourage further studies, particularly multi-case studies. Can you see that? That is an indication they use one organization, or studies that employ other methodologies. So now you can see that this study expressly gave to you gaps in a study, a gap. That is to tell you that, okay, Mr. So-and-so, Miss So-and-so, this is a gap that you can fill. Go ahead and start a study on that. Colleagues, does this make sense to you?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
It does.
Okay. So this is how to identify gaps. And I must say that by the time you are writing, it doesn't need to be just one study. But let me just share another screen with you, to you rather. Can you see an Excel sheet on the screen?
Yes, you are coming.
All right. Now, by the time you want to write, because when you are writing your introduction, you must tell us at some point what gap exactly are you trying to cover. And in doing that, let me just run you through the flow of introduction, for example. Because during your viva or during your defense, or even with your supervisor at your supervisor level, Your supervisor might want to know, why are you embarking on this study? You should be able to prove with a couple of literatures, even if it's from your own observation. Like I said earlier, you should be able to back up that gap in literature. You must establish it in the midst of existing literature. So what do you do? What do you do? Let me just run through a typical introduction structure. Please permit me. I don't have this in the slide currently, but I just want to run you through it. We are starting from the introduction, from the background, which is identifying gap, and now you want to write introduction. So what do you do? What you do in the introduction should always be, the first paragraph should always be about broad knowledge in that area that you want to cover. What is known around the world about that problem? For example, let's say mental health. Hello, please. Let's not interrupt this class, please. Mental health. You want to deal with mental health in your study among a group of people, maybe among adolescents who are exposed to drug abuse. That's what you want to focus on. Now, you can see now there's something that we are still going to cover in this study, which I just did now. For example, currently across around the world now, people believe that if you go to a place like US as a practitioner, or sorry, as a researcher, and that's one of the field that is selling is mental health, or across board mental health. Mental health is a broad field. So you need to dovetail, you need to narrow down. So I am just using an hypothetical example now to say that you want to study the implication, or the mental health implication of drug abuse among adolescents in social area, or the implication of exposure of mental, the implication of shisha, or let me put it this way, scholos. There are a number of them. The implication of scholos abuse. You can use any other one among teenagers in so country or in so area. Now you have done that. That is your title. You must have research questions that follow it, that will enable you to do that. But we are talking about introduction now. Okay? By the time you start your introduction, your introduction should tell us what is generally known that people across board, across different regions, countries, continents can relate with. That is the impact of mental health. Who is this person, please? This person should not interrupt. I will mute this
class, mute
the mic from that side, sir.
Sorry?
him.
Yes, mute him.
I'm muted all now for now. So, excuse me. So, by the time you want to start the topic, please, I'm using medical science as an example now, or social work. Even in social sciences or psychology, this topic I'm raising is still applicable. So, now, if you want to start writing that topic, writing that under that topic, your introduction should tell us what is known generally about drug abuse or substance abuse. And you move from, while doing that, you should give us something that is so compelling. We call it hook. That is, drug abuse or substance abuse has been identified as one of the factors contributing to mental issues or mental imbalance among adolescents around the world. You give it a citation. You move from there. You give practical example, or maybe you quote figures. As a matter of fact, those who attended our previous training, they are so blessed in such a way that we were able to give them database of oh, I'm not logging out. Database of websites where you can go and find out in your feed. You can go and find out a place where you can bring out evidence, compelling evidence about that thing you are saying. Because when you are writing introduction, your first paragraph must be compelling with evidence and facts. So when you explore such opportunities, you will see that whoever is reading your work will know you are speaking with fact and figure. That is a hook, even to examiner, even to your supervisor. It will prove to them that you are not just telling stories that have no basis. For example, you start with something that globally, research indicates that so percentage of adolescents have been exposed to one form of drug or substance abuse or the other. You quote that percentage and you say maybe UNO or UNICEF, or you quote organizations that are of repute. That is to tell you that you know exactly what you're doing and you have the facts. Look at it. This is our platform. This is the platform those participants were exposed to, and we have it in form of scientific database. Can you see my screen, please? Scientific database. So if you click on it, let me unmute the mic. If you click on that, it will take you to a place where you will have access to a good number of databases where you can, just a minute. All right, the mic is on. So where you can have access to a good number, you can see different discipline have a place where you can draw fact and figure from to prove to make the first impression, which is the hook in your thesis. You must be able to quote fact and figures. So once you are able to do that, you move from there to tell us about the significance of your study, of what significance it is. And because you have identified that problem, or that you have identified that hook, you move to exactly what significance, of what urgent, is it urgent? That is, you need to state that, okay, in view of these statistics of what previous studies have shown, there is an urgent need for a study that responds to the negative impact, the negative personal and societal impact of mental unwellness among adolescents, knowing that they form the bulk of the workforce and they represent the future generations. That is enough significance. And you move from there to now state that, okay, what exactly is the problem? You will now define the problem. The problem statement, which is one of the things that students struggle with. I'm bringing so many things together to actually buttress a point. Remember, we move from identification of gap to a structure of literature review. And the reason why I'm explaining, the introduction, the reason why I'm explaining this is because if you don't know where that gap fits in, it becomes an issue. So I'm just trying to run through how the introduction flows and where the gap comes in. You have given a hook, fact and figure about the topic you are writing. You have established the significance of the study and why you have to study it. Now you want to talk about the statement of problem. The statement of problem is an expression of the problem you have identified. And number one thing you do, or let me just give you the breakdown of the structure of statement of problem. The structure is one, a statement of problem or problem statement must be stated expressly. That is, for example, let's say, okay, you can say substance abuse has been observed to contribute to mental issue among adolescents around the world. In the context of Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, studies have shown that students or adolescents who are exposed to substance abuse suffer so and so. and by implication, this happened. According to so an author that work in that area now, you cite that author and what they have found out, and you move from there to start talking about what you intend to do in your study and how you want to go about it. So when you are writing a statement of problem,
The red flag.
when you are writing a statement of problem comprises of a statement of that problem expressly, evidence that supports that problem exists from literature. You move from there to talk about the consequence of that problem and what your study intends to do to fill in that gap and how you want to go about it. That is the component of a statement of problem which many students struggle with. As a matter of fact, this is just a one-day training. We have mapped out a well-structured training that make this to be in details. As time goes on, for those who are interested, they are able to sign up for that. We are going to go into this in details because there are these two things that we have just mentioned: identification of gap and statement of problem. There are two major things that a lot of students struggle with. We are going to stretch everything out and make it clear. Number 3, when you leave the statement of problem, you are going into what the studies have done and previous studies have done and what gap exists. This is exactly where I'm going with all these narrations, meaning that the moment you identify that you make a statement of problem, the next thing to do is to identify gaps in previous studies. What have previous studies done? What have they left out? And that is where that gap that we have just seen in the study I showed you, look at it. That is where they shine. That is you have access to articles, journals that are of high quality and they are open access, meaning that whatever article that you download from there, they are of high quality. So I want to click on one of them and just open. Let's go to close, for example, and here is it. What I want to do now is to search on this. I want to search here for an article on substance abuse and mental health. Let's search. Substance abuse and mental health. Okay. Just a minute, please. Where are you? Mental health. Yeah, that's it. So, let's search for substance abuse and mental health. You have access to articles, journals that are of high quality and they are open access, meaning that whatever article that you download from there, they are of high quality. So I want to click on one of them and just open. Let's go to close, for example, And here is it. What I want to do now is to search on this. I want to search here for an article on mental journal. Sorry, let me say substance abuse and mental health. Let's search. Substance abuse and mental health. Okay. Just a minute, please. Where are you? Mental health. Yeah, that's it. So, let's search for substance abuse and mental health. All right. So, I click on this. Let me open the full article. All right. So, colleagues, what I was trying to establish is how you fit in those gaps that you have identified. So, when you look at this study, for example, it says, while it has been established that there are robust research on physical, sexual, and reproductive health effect of displacement on the general population, women and children, this research seems to thin down when focusing on the mental health of children, especially the adolescents and young people. This may be because of inadequate mental health facility among the displaced population, and also because mental health issues except suicide are not obvious and all that. Now, what I'm bringing in here is that by the time you want to bring in the gap you have identified after the statement of problem, the next thing is to say things like, while it has been established or previous studies have shown that so and so happened. And when you do that, there are different ways to go about the write-up. Some will highlight different studies one after the other. Some other would just express it generally and they will cite those studies, but they will eventually say that there is a limitation about those studies, and that is why this current study want to contribute to so and so. Okay, for example, now they also say there is also the misconception that mental health issues tend to fade away and all the rest of them. Now, these are what previous studies have found, and eventually they will come to say that this is exactly the gap they want to fill. Just a minute. All right. You see, all these 11 that you see, they are citation of previous studies that have gaps. Previous studies that have gaps from 7 to 10 to 11. There are different studies that, their gaps were expressed in form of previous studies that have gap. We did that in details in our previous studies, and of course, the training for the PhD students and master students also have that element. I'm just trying to run through this. So now, when you have been able to establish from this point to this point, is talking about gaps. From this point, from under this rationale, and you can see rationale and knowledge gap. This is where those gaps are expressed to say, all right, there are gaps. And this study I've done this, but they have not covered this. This study I've done this, they have not covered this. And eventually you come to say, therefore, the aim of this study was to identify all research concerning the mental health need and all that. That's how to express that. Colleagues, we talk about gap and how to identify them and where they fit into in the introduction session. Do we have questions up until now? We want to go on 1 minute break or thereabout, or sorry, few minutes break. And let me unmute. Do we have questions before we go on break? Question before we go on break.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I want to find out what exactly is the main difference between this review of gap of other literature and reviewing empirical study of other study of the other works.
All right.
That is empirical review.
Yeah.
What is the difference between empirical review of other studies and this identification of gaps of other study?
Thank you. Identification of gap is quite different from empirical review. However, there is a thin line between the two of them. Of difference, I mean. Identification of gap is expected in every study. You should identify a gap in previous studies. What the area that has not been covered, particularly in master at PhD level. You must state categorically what has been done and what has not been done. If you look at, that is why we develop we developed this. Let me show this. That is why we oh my God. Who are these? So, yeah, back to this screen. If you please, can you see a spreadsheet on the screen?
Yes, I can.
Now, this spreadsheet is applicable in all fields. What does it do? As you have seen in the study that I've just shown, the name of the author should be here. That is in the process of you identifying a gap, because that is the foundation of your research. You must tell us, what have you seen? What gap have you identified that you want to fill? And I've shown us how to identify gap. So what do? You bring the name of the author of that article, the year, the article title, the study focus, that is the focus of that article, the methodology adopted, the key findings, the conclusion of that study, what exactly is the limitation that was identified. And if you want to make it extensive, there is also an extended one, which is very, very massive. But let's just keep it at that level, keep it at this level for now. So what am I trying to say in essence is that every study need a gap, because there is no need repeating studies that have been done. To avoid or prevent you repeating a study that has been concluded, you need to carve out a niche via a gap for yourself, which you have to prove in the introduction session. And in proving that, one of the ways, or the way to prove that, is after you have made a statement of problem, you must let us know the rationale for the study, that is the gap you have identified. That should be what you follow. Once you do that, it is then you can now start talking about the objective of your study, what you want to do in this new study. Now, the second part of your question is review of empirical study. Now, the review of empirical study comes, in most cases, under literature review. Please, if you can still hear me, let me know.
Very well, sir. I'm with you, sir.
It comes under, it comes under literature review, and in some institutions, it is separated. They will want, as in, you may talk about concepts, how variables relate to each other. By the time you are done with the relationship between different variables, now maybe you draw your argument from theoretical, conceptual papers, why doing those arguments. But in order to prove that of a truth, this theoretical argument, this conceptual argument that you have been talking about truly exists and studies have been carried out to establish it, we want empirical studies. in a distinct form. So now that you have discussed the relationship between different variables, you have defined different concepts theoretically, conceptually, now we want to know what you have argued. Do they really exist empirically? That is the reason why some institutions separate empirical review from other parts of literature review. I don't know if you are getting what I'm saying.
I'm following, sir.
So that is how it works. There are different things. Identification of gap is different from empirical review. And in some parlance or some places, instead of separating empirical review from your previous literature review or argument, they will fuse the two together, because the fact remains that if you want to talk about two different articles, if you want to talk about relationship between two variables, or you want to talk about a concept, you can merge both theoretical findings with conceptual findings. It depends on how you are able to drive it. But if your institution says separate the two of them, please go ahead and separate. All they need is that they just want a compilation. Let me not use the word compilation, because ideally when you are writing systematic review, it should not be a compilation of author. Rather, it should be a synthesis of the author of findings. That is you either write it in a chronological, it could be chronological if your study has to be chronological, but it has to be synthesized in a thematic way. That is, in a way that speak to the topic in question at a point in time. Meaning that if you want to look at, for example, the mental health we are talking about, for example, substance abuse and mental health. If you want to talk about that under a topic in literature review, say the impact of substance abuse on mental health of the adolescents. Now, you will have to talk, if you want to separate the two, you will need literature both from theoretical papers, systematic review paper, scoping review paper, conceptual paper to do your argument. You can do it at that level. But now, if you still want to buttress the point forward to prove that, of course, there are evidences to support my argument, that is why some institutions separate empirical review from the theoretical argument. I don't know if you are getting my point.
So can the
Doctor, please let me just close in on this from what you have said. Please pardon me.
Go ahead.
I didn't introduce myself initially. My name is Lucky Edovi. Okay. What I'm trying to get from what you have said now, you said when you identify a problem, you want to study.
Yeah.
I want to believe that identification of a problem may be just one problem.
Yeah.
For instance, I don't know if you can identify several problems to write on. That may be stretching the focus too much.
Yeah.
But I believe that a study should be able to identify a particular problem you have identified that you want to solve.
Certainly.
That on one side. Now, when you identify the gaps of previous studies, you may identify up to, that is, you may you may identify like 5 different studies with 5 different gaps.
Okay.
And your own study is going to fill in only one gap. How do you tie in these different gaps from different studies to your own focus of your own gap, which is one? For instance, like the example you gave, mental health. If you want to look at the impact of mental health on children, substance abuse on the mental health of children, maybe that is what you want to look at. And you are looking at identifying other gaps from previous studies that have stated several things. How do you tie those different gaps to your own one gap you want to study?
All right, thank you. It's simple, very, very simple, very, very simple. You see, let me see if can we do something now. Let's quickly do something so that all this narration will not just be like a story. Let's go practical. Let's use the commonly used database, Google Scholar, even though it's not the best. I'm not saying it's not good, But if you don't know how to use Google Scholar, you will end up citing predatory journals that are fake, that if you submit an article to them today, they will publish it tomorrow. And that's one of the things that we have to run away from as postgraduate students. I know many students want to please their supervisor by citing them over and over again. But if your supervisor is not publishing in good quarters, you can minimize the rate at which you cite your supervisor. I know we do it to please them, but if your supervisor is not publishing in good quarters, in reputable journals, and you are citing him over and over and over again, it may later haunt you if you want to go far in academia. So now what am I trying to say is this. Let's look at those keywords: mental health. Please, I'm doing two things at the same time. I'm trying to answer his question, but at the same time, I'm teaching us how to search. Many people will say, and I have searched and didn't get any information. And it is because you don't know how to, or they don't know how to search. We're going practical now. Substance abuse. I put this in parentheses, and mental health and substance abuse, then adolescents and adolescents. All right, why did I put the quotation marks? If I just put mental health, substance abuse, and adolescents, or I just type the topic, the impact of substance abuse among adolescents, the mental health impact of substance abuse among adolescents, maybe in social country, you will see. Can we look at Nigeria example? Let's just use Nigeria. I want to believe. Apologies to non-Nigerians in this platform this morning. We can use any country. So if we do it this way, it's going to streamline what I'm searching and give me exactly what I need. Let's do two things. One, I'm copying this now. I'm going to duplicate this tab. I'm going to type this, the impact, and I want us to see the difference. The impact of substance abuse among adolescents in Nigeria. Mental health is still Nigeria. The impact of substance abuse on mental health of adolescents in Nigeria. Now, I'm going to search this, and I'm going to search the other one. Now, look at what we have. I just typed the topic here, mental health of adolescents, and we have 58,000 outputs. Can you see that? Now, let's go to the second tab. This is the second tab. The first one is expressly stated. The second one, they are skillfully imputed. And I'm going to search now. Let's see what we have, because I want to dovetail. Can you see from 58,000 outputs to 19,000 outputs? Now,
Yeah.
okay, I'm dovetailing, I'm zooming in, I'm narrowing down, and I can tell you that many of the studies I have on this screen will be related to what I want to talk about. Now, you move a little bit further, because it is always stretched that your empirical studies should be within 5 years. So come to this point and say from 2021 to 2025, for example, and I say save or search rather, can you see it has moved from 19,000 to 8,970. So with this now, is becoming sizable. So I'm still trying to answer your question. When you identify 4 or 5 gaps and you are feeling just one gap, how do they relate? The way they relate is this. Now, I also want to chip in something. In order to avoid citing predatory journals that are fake or articles from fake journals, look on this right side. Get acquainted with credible publishers like Ajol, like ResearchGate is not a publisher, like Springer. You can see that ProQuest. You can get quality articles from there. So now what am I trying to say? Prevalence and factors associated with substance abuse among adolescents in public and private secondary school in Katsina State. If you open this, I'm opening that's the first one. Determinant of substance abuse among users with mental health issues. You open this. Substance abuse among youth in Nigeria, implication for community and national health. I open this. And influence of substance abuse and moderate factors of age and gender, disease and that and all that. If you open these studies, you will find out that they have their gaps. If ideally, let me put it that way, which I also want to be part of your practice when you write, always acknowledge your limitations. So now the moment, let me look at this. It's still loading. This is a thesis. This is 92. This one is 92 pages of thesis. This is an article. Let's look for the limitation quickly. If you bring out limitations of studies, just a minute. I'm not sure this is a very sound one. If you bring it out, let me just keep explaining. Let me see if I can find limitation in this. Limitation. All right. This is limitation. Let's look at this. This is a thesis. It's saying this study, just as every other secondary database study, was not without limitation, as it relied on already processed patient's clinical record. Okay? The method of keeping medical record make it difficult to retrieve information about the patients on time. In other words, the paper-based method of keeping patients' clinical record is time-consuming. There are lack of additional information such as social, these are not the rest of them. So now, what you want to work on, are you getting me? Is
Yes.
What you want to work on, hypothetically speaking now, is the impact of substance abuse on adolescents. That's what you want to work on in a particular state or in a country. Now, by the time you want to use this limitation to buttress a gap that you have identified, one of the things you will cite is that this author work on secondary data. Do you get what I'm saying now? Though, if you look at the findings of this author, you will state the findings of this author, that this author found that. Do you get what I'm saying now? Found that so and so. However, the result was the data was drawn from secondary sources. Do you get the point I'm making now? You have made a difference.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, if you look at another study, let me see prevalence. Let me share this screen again. That is one. Now, let's look at another one. Let me look for limitation. Just a moment. All right. Now, you can see from this point, as this study is limited to school-going adolescents and specifically older adolescents, its finding could not be generalized to all adolescents. Further studies should consider all adolescents, including out-of-school adolescents. Can you see that? So now,
Yes.
the conclusion of this study is that this study was conducted among school-going. What is the finding? Prevalence of substance abuse among adolescents in both public and private school in Katsina was high. The value of which was higher in the private than public. That is the finding. So now this is the finding, and of course other findings that are specific are also there. So now by the time you want to use this gap, this limitation as a gap, now we are translating limitation to gap now. So now you will now say that previous studies have shown that there is a high prevalence of substance abuse among school-going adolescents. However, the results of this study is limited or drawn, the data were drawn from school-going adolescents, leaving out of school adolescents. Do you get what I'm saying now? So what you are doing is you have established that there are previous studies, but these are the gaps that they left uncovered. And by the time you are done with that, the next paragraph should tell that in view of the above identified gap, the current study adopts so and so method to examine so and so and so. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So that is how to go about that. I hope that answers your question. Colleagues, we need to fire on. I'm afraid we may not be able to finish this training, but as much as we can push. By the time we notice the drop in the number of people, because I understand people have challenges with internet, with power source and all the rest of them. So we also put that into consideration in our training so that we don't allow people to lose out more than necessary. So I think the momentum is still high. We are still about 110 and we can still push. So let's push. So far so good, colleagues. Are we making sense of these discussions?
Yeah.
Yeah, making sense.
All right.
Yes.
All right. We have some hands up. Dr. Ekeng, Dr. Kenneth, Dr. Salami, some hands are up.
You are doing very well, sir. Well done, sir.
Thank you so much. Please, if you don't have questions, you can lower your hands. We see some hands.
Yes, Doc, I have a question.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for the journey so far.
You're welcome, sir.
We are getting it. Please, which sections of the thesis should we focus on in search of possible gaps, sir?
You mean the
one?
Okay.
Which sections of the thesis should we focus on
section.
while searching for the gaps?
Section of
the thesis, yes.
All right.
Sections of thesis should we focus on? Yeah, that's question one. Question two, you started mentioning types of gaps, but didn't finish it. So let's get to know those types of gaps and then which sections of the thesis we can focus on in search of possible gaps. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for the question. Now, colleagues, it is possible. The color is black, please. It's there. Sorry. Sorry about that. I want to state something. When you want to identify gaps, don't over concentrate on thesis to look for gaps. Rather, concentrate on journals. It doesn't mean you cannot use thesis, but journals are let me put it this way. Journals have been reviewed by experts in that field. And if you draw your limitations from articles from reputable journals, it simply means that that article has been adjudged by the best brains in that field, and it simply means that the gap that journal or the limitation of that journal is also of that article is also acknowledged internationally. For example, if you base your gap identification on thesis alone, you may run into please mark the word may, run into an error or a mistake of a thesis that you cannot really establish its quality, trustworthiness. So if you want to identify a gap, it is always good to identify gaps using articles as your source. I'm not ruling out the use of thesis. If you have a solid thesis, and how do you identify solid thesis, good thesis, sound thesis? There are ways to get to know them. Even articles. In our training, we inform our trainees that not all articles are worth citing, because Google Scholar push out an article and you cite it without necessarily verifying the source and how credible the source, the journal is. You are only repeating, you are corrupting knowledge, because if a journal is published, article is published in 2 days, who does that around the world? They are fake journals. So the same thing goes for a thesis. If you identify gap through thesis, remember, in some places, only 2 people examine, or let me not put it this way, the final arbiter of whether a thesis is going to be accepted or not, apart from the committees, are your supervisor and the external examiners. So we can say it's reviewed also. But as for me, I may be biased about this. Let me not lord my bias on you. Let me just give that room. If you identify good thesis, you can identify gap from it. If you identify good articles from sound journals, please go ahead and identify a gap from it. Any one of them will suffice. I don't know if that speaks to your question. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know that.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes,
so make sure you identify. It is when you know. Those who attended our training knows very well. I'm sure they all know how to identify good and bad journals, or articles rather, even journals. We cover all those things. And this afternoon also, if time permits, Dr. Nebe will speak to how to identify, predatory journals that you should not even go near, either to publish or to cite from. I just wish we have enough time to do that. So, so colleagues, we've been able to establish Gad Ekeng. Please, are you still speaking? Your hand is up. So I just want us to move forward. So now you see that we've been able to identify a gap. So having identified gap, what next? The next thing should be that you should ask questions. Well, let's not jump. Let's not skip our slide. Let's go back to the slide. Then we can pick things one after the other and we can run with it. So I'm going back to the slide. So basically the foundation is the gap. And with what we have done, we've been able to see how to identify gap, and we've been able to see how gap fit into our training. Fit into thesis writing. In our forthcoming, we'll be having a training on thesis writing in the whole month of January is dedicated to that. Whoever want to plug in, we already have platform that will enable you to do that effectively without struggling. So, but let's cover what we have for today, and I wish we are able to go through that to completion. So I'll do a little bit of fast moving so that we can cover what we have. So just a minute, I'm moving now. I want to share my screen. Just a moment. We have spoken to some of the things here. I just want us to move ahead. Yeah. So let us quickly look at something. Please, is my screen or is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
All right, just 1 minute, please.
Hi.
All right, you are saying something? Are you? Please, let's proceed so that we can cover some more. Then we have so much, but let's just see if we can cover a bit more. Phase 3 of this procedure, if you want to finish on time, it has to do with your methodology and resource session. Between month 3 to month 10 for a master student, you are expected to focus on data collection and, of course, a dirty draft of your work. It depends on the type of, the source from which you are drawing your data. If you are drawing your data from participants, from respondents, it might take you between 2 to 3 months. It depends on the number of participants about number of respondents that you have. Just target, between 3 months that you have, just try and see how you can gather your data. Then the draft is there any message there? Sorry, let me just chat. Let me see. It's like we have. You cannot see my slide, right? Oh, apologies.
No, sure.
All right. I'm trying to share the slide now.
Yeah, we cannot see.
Can you see now?
No.
Yes.
No, sir. Yes, sir.
No.
You can see it now.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you so
Open
much.
it now.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now
We know.
the phase 3, let's just do a little bit of recap. Number 1, deal with the proposal and make sure that you have all the things we have mentioned that form the core components of a research that can prove to somebody that you know what you're talking about, which is the research title, your ability to identify a gap. Then from there you move to your literature, from literature to the method you want to use. Those are the things that form proposal session. You should be able to do that effectively. Then you should be able to gather literature. After you have done that, gather more literature, while you are expecting the committee to approve your work. Then, of course, it's going to be useful. Then methodology is the third one we are talking about. If you are doing a master program, between 3 to 10 months, between the 3rd month to the 10th month, I've muted that person. Sorry about that. So, so you are expected to have collected your data between 3 to 10 months and do a draft of your work. Aim at it is doable. Aim at it is doable. And believing that almost, a very good percentage of people that enroll in postgraduate study are busy in one way or the other, it is very important that we should try as much as possible to see how we can devote, even if it is 3 hours in a day, if possible, to attend to our thesis writing, either data analysis at this point, or you keep either discussion session or whatever, the resource session rather, or your methodology or resource session. Devote time for it. If you don't carve out time for it, I remember when I was doing my masters, I was telling one of my senior colleagues that when he asked me, how far with your study, and I told him that I am still gathering materials I'm still reading literature. He told me frantically, and I cannot forget because what he said really made an impact. He said, you will not stop gathering literature, gathering data until you have done the final submission. At even after you have submitted for external defense, after your external defense, there will still be correction that will need you to go into literature. So start writing with what you have. I don't know the stage you are right now. Whatever stage you are, carve out time to start writing. And I must say, there will not be a convenient time to write if you don't make it a point of duty. And let's look at it this way. Individual knows when to write. You know when it's convenient for you. Generally speaking, everybody have their own approach to writing. But regardless of your approach, regardless of how you feel you write, regardless of how daunting it might seem to you, the best time to write is when you are fresh. When you are fresh. And how do I mean? The best time the brain works best is always at night or early in the morning. If you want to write a thesis, see how you can, or you find a quiet place where you will not be distracted. Know fully well that we are all married people. I know what I'm talking. A good number of us are married people. Let me put it that way. So in that case, find a quiet place without a distraction where you can have 2 to 3 hours to write. Don't write to perfection. If you are aiming at perfection, you won't do anything. What you need is a dirty draft. A best thesis is not written once off. It is polished over and over. Just put your thoughts down. Put your ideas down. Once you are able to do this, you will have a sense of accomplishment that will be a motivation for a next action. But the moment you keep postponing, oh, I will write next week, I will write 2 weeks time, when I'm on holiday, I'm going to take a leave. You can take a leave of your work, and for that 45 days, you won't do anything. But just ensure that find a good place. I've said it, I'll find a good position for yourself. But what works generally is, I know people put up argument that I don't like reading at night. I don't like doing something. I can't trade my sleep for anything. Colleagues, generally, the rule of thumb for almost everybody, what research has already proven to us is early in the morning, the early hour of the morning, the brain is at its best. Your body is at its best. So if you cannot do late night writing, maybe you are tired, sleep, let the brain rest. Then find a way in the morning before you set out. Even if it is 1 hour or 2 hours, you will be productive. Other than procrastinating and saying, okay, I'm going to look for time. Don't look for time. Time is always there. It is you to strategically fit into what works with the body and what has been proven. Look for a quiet place or do something very early in the morning when your brain is still at its best. You will be shocked how the pace and the rate at which you will go. And for those who are doing their PhD, ensure that by the time you are in between the 4th month to 18 months, work on your methodology and result. The reason we put this long period is because of what we said earlier. Some institutions will not allow you to do a level of defense before a certain time, but you have to do it tactically. You can collect your data and analyze it and wait for that time. When the time has completed, you submit to them. Don't wait until that time elapsed before you start going to the field. That's exactly what we are saying. And the 4th one is the discussion and conclusion session. For those who are doing masters, by the time you have 12 months, meaning that, for example, if the first 6 months is for a coursework, then you still have another 12. Let me see now. If the first 6 months is for coursework, the next 12 months is going to be for your thesis. Within that period, you are expected to be, as in to have closed in on the discussion, the conclusion, and of course, if you are the one doing PhD, it means from the 24th or before the 24th month, let's say between the 18th month or thereabouts, you should be working on until the 18th to 24th month. You should be talking about a complete draft of your thesis. if you break things down this way, you will find out that you are able to move. And let me just say something. It might sound so funny. It might sound so funny, but it works. Many of us belong to a different religion. Our belief system varies. But I want to say this. Whatever you write down has a life of its own, and it exists. It has a way of coming to pass. What does this mean? It simply means the moment you write your plan, give it timelines. And that is why you see in some countries or in some institutions, they will request that you have a timeline during which you will complete certain actions. By the time you force yourself into that mode, you will find out that in one way or the other, things are beginning to align, and those timelines are, delivering what they are meant to deliver. But the moment you keep saying, oh, I will write my chapter, whatever, at so time, it is just a verbal confession. It might not come true. But if you pin yourself down to a time frame written down, clearly stated, particularly to the knowledge of your supervisor, you will be accountable to what you want to do. But the moment you just keep confessing it, it remains at that level. But if you write it down and somebody is holding you accountable, particularly your supervisor and maybe the committee, you can be sure that you will fly with it. So, because of our time, you may adopt something called Gantt style. Gantt style is a chart that have a breakdown of your activities. This is it for a typical PhD program. This is how it is. It is, the chart can come in different form, but this is just a typical example. The first, these are the tasks on the left side, and the year, how the year is spread out for the 3 years. Let's put it at 3 years, is what you see on the screen. All these activities, they are all indicated in the corresponding columns. That is, within social period, I am going to meet my supervisor, which is the year 1, introduction and training, if it is an institution that trains, or you want to go for personal training on how to write thesis, of which you are blessed to have us do that for you, you can put it there. Okay, I'll go for training, I will explore resources, preliminary literature review. So you just make those marks to see, okay, these are the things I want to do within this period. And you can see at the end of the second year, you have result and discussion. Can you see that? So the third year, the person may say, okay, I want to do the conclusion and submission, and the end of the whole thing ends. So this is how to go about having a time, attached to your activities. If you don't attach time to your thesis writing, time will just fly. You may not achieve anything. So this is another example. We are going to have more time to explain this in our training, but as you can see, this is the 12-month master pathway. Month 1, between 0, the first day to the first time, architecture and proposal. After between the first month and the third month, you will have done a bit of literature review that can position your work and meet existing literature. Then between 3 and 7th month, your data collection, and between the 7th and the 9th month, your result and discussions should be achieved. And between the 9th to the 11th month, a full draft and revision of your work. And of course, the submission preparation should be between 12 and 11 and the 12 months. This is very, very important. So ensure that your data collection does not exceed the 7 months. Otherwise, it is going to elongate your program. Rather, if you find out that there is a methodology you are using and it will elongate your work, the best thing is to cut your work back to the minimum viable thesis architecture. So, and for PhD, between the first to the second month, ensure that your architecture, your thesis architecture and proposal are in place, and literature review between that first month to the fourth month, and methodology, and the pilot study. In case you want to collect pilot data, you should be able to accomplish that. Data collection between the 6th and the 8th month and the 10th month, and your data analysis and the result session can be between the 10th and 14th month, while your discussion and the drafting of the entire stuff, can be between 14 to 18 months, and revision and defense preparation can be between 18 and 20, and examination and correction can be between 20 to the 24th month. So, I want us to do some activities now. Look at what is on the screen. If you see what is on the screen right now, is an activity to diagnose how far you have gone and how far you still have to go. Let me unmute the mic and let us see how we can go about this. Position yourself. Just look at the thesis. I asked us to bring our thesis or proposal or whatever you have. Just look at what you have on the screen. Do you think you can pull through if, going by this analysis? For example, each of these bullets represents a question, and you will have to score yourself to know how far have I gone, how far do I still have to go. Number one, do you have a written proposal approved by your supervisor within the last 30 days? If yes, you put 1. 2, is your data collection at least 50% complete, or can you complete it by next month? If yes, 1. If no, 0. Supervision. Have you met your supervisor in the last 14 days with a clear agenda? Yes or no? Yes, 1. No, 0. Have you written over 1,000 words of thesis draft in the last 7 days? Yes, 1. No, 0. What are the barriers that you are facing? Have you identified and documented your top 3 obstacles in writing? Maybe your place of work, more responsibility back at home, not having sufficient access to literature, or no data to browse, or my supervisor does not have enough time for me. Whatever the barrier is, just give it a number. If you score 5 points, you are on track record, and you are going to complete on time. If it is between 3 to 4 points, well, it is still moderate. You need to focus on the areas where you have no immediately. And if it is between 0 and 2, it is not likely you are going to finish at the appropriate time. In that case, you need to activate emergency protocol. It is either you work on these areas by, if there are people that are responsible for the drawdown or drawbacks rather, you need to approach those people in a way that will enable you to prioritize your study. And you have to do this as soon as possible. If there are people that need to be activated, activate them. If there are people you need to drop them off. If there are activities you have to do without them. If you have to deny yourself to get it done. I know the number of people that we started masters together who have not finished now. I know the number of people who started PhD together who have not finished now. The same reason they are giving, the same excuses they are giving is what they are still giving, and nothing will still change. The situation is still the same. They are still at the same level. Your case should not be like that. So, colleagues, let me quickly run through. Okay, let me see. Any question for now? Hello, colleagues. Do we have question? The mic is unmuted. Thank you. The mic is unmuted. Are you there?
Question for now.
No. All right.
No question for now. We should push.
All right. Thank you so much. So let's keep pushing.
Thank you, sir. There's no question.
All right. Thank you. So how do you design a finishable topic?
We appreciate you, Prof.
Thank you so much. How do you design a finishable topic and appropriate research question? when I was doing my master, our lecturer used to tell us that some topics are researchable, some topics are not researchable. Uh, of course, if a topic is not researchable, it means it's not finishable. If a topic is also too broad, it's not also finishable. Just pardon that English, finishable. You may not find it in the literature or in a dictionary, but I believe idea is need. You know what I'm talking about. So, the appropriate research question. Of course, one of the things we emphasize in our training is your ability to string things together. It is quite important that you are able to string from the title or topic selection to the conclusion session. There is a rhythm. Everything needs to re-echo through every session of the article, of the either proposal or a thesis. Some of you will agree with me that sometimes when we write, when we are still new in writing, particularly, let me just put it this way, in our first degree, you will find out that your topic and your topic, your findings and your recommendation are at variance, meaning that you started with a topic, you adopt the methodology that you want, you have your findings, you have your conclusion, but by the time you get to recommendation, what you are recommending does not have any basis. It doesn't have a basis in your findings. Research is not meant to be written at postgraduate that way. Everything must resonate, connect with each other. Whatever your title does not suggest should not find a place in your research question. Whatever your research question does not dictate or imply should not find a place in your literature. Whatever your literature does not dictate should not find a place in your discussion of findings. Whatever methodology does not support your research question should not exist as part of your methodology. Everything must string together, and not all methodology can answer all research questions. There are specific research methodology that can speak to your research question, that can help you to answer that question, to fill the gap you want to fill. Anything short of that is an error. This thing needs skill and tactics, and until you master it, and that is why you see when you write and submit to your supervisor, the supervisor will say retry, or this will not fly. No, this is not working. They will just cross it or condemn it. But unfortunately, because they might be too busy, they may not have enough time. They expect you to know, which I'm sorry to use that word. The expectation is you know exactly what you are doing, that you have mastered the act. But in the actual fact, you are exploring a terrain that you have no guidance. Nobody has trained you on what to do. You are the one that selected the topic, and there is no curriculum you are following, and you have no training on how these things are stringed together. So you see, you write, he knows the right thing, but he has no time to teach you. So he expects you to know it, and you are not trained. It becomes an issue. And you get to a point you become frustrated, and he too becomes frustrated, and you abandon the program. So it is very important to know, it is good, it is sweet when you supervise a student that knows what he's doing. Lecturers, supervisors run away from students who they babysit. They don't have time to babysit anyone. So
People don't want to babysit us, Abby.
Sorry,
not you.
all right. So supervisors don't like students that they babysit. They have no time for it. They expect you that by now, Shebi, in your first degree, you did methodology as a course. In your second degree, you did methodology as a course. But this methodology modules and courses, they don't string things together the way we are talking about them right now. And that is why writing thesis becomes a big problem. So, but by the time you are exposed to training on how to go about all of this, it becomes so easy. So, you need to be able to design finishable topic. And if I may just share something with you now, just 1 minute. Just a minute, I want to share something. Now, if you look at my screen, you will see that, just 1 minute. Okay. Can you see this? Can you see this part? Can you see this screen? Please, can you see my?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
okay. In our forthcoming training in January, these are the things we are going to cover. You can see from title and topic to problem statement, research question and objectives, conceptual and theoretical framework, literature review, synthesis matrix, methodology blueprints, ethics notes, data analysis, research draft, discussion draft, conclusion and implication, and abstracts, references, and appendices. These are the things we are going to cover, and everybody will have access to their dashboard. This is a dashboard that everybody will have access to, and not only that, there is a dashboard where you can draw information from. What I mean is this: we have curated just 1 minute before I go into that. These are the modules that will be covered during the training. Yeah, these are the modules, the foundational. Yeah, sorry, these are the modules. Just a minute, I'm just trying to. Yeah, these are the modules, and how things try to string together. You will have the thesis binder. The thesis binder cover everything you have here. The topic, for example, if you want to talk about topic, you click on it, and here you can string your topics here. And the moment you string your topic, you have, or before you do that, these are tips on how to write titles. What are the things that thesis title should have? You have an explanation of them here, and you'll be guided accordingly. You write, and of course, you submit to us. We give you a review of what you have done within that short period of time. Of course, we cannot cover the entire thesis, but we give you the tools that you need to write successful thesis. And we also allow you to have access to our dashboard where you will be able to access quality articles free of charge. And for those who want to publish also, we also have a list of articles, a list of journals where you can publish your research free of charge, but that is a different arrangement anyway for those who are into article writing. But by extension, we can still do something about it for those who may be interested. We have not concluded on that. So, colleagues, we're talking about the need for you to string finishable topic and research question together. And this research question, there are ways you measure whether your research question is worth it, or is valid, or is not valid. Not all research questions are valid. There are strategies to be used. So let's quickly look at one or two things. Now, across different disciplines, whatever your field is, you need to be able to carry out a finishability test. And that finishability test must satisfy 6 criteria. Number 1, the title you have selected. Can you write it in such a way that for a master thesis, will you have enough materials to have about 60,000 words or more? If you are doing a PhD, can you have as much as 100,000 words string together as a thesis or more? Because one of the challenges is this: If your research is not researchable, if your topic is not researchable, one of the indication is that you will search for literature, you won't have enough literature to support what you are writing. It simply means you don't have enough material. You cannot locate your study in the body of existing literatures. It makes it not completable, non researchable. So minimum of between 20,000 or 60,000 or more for masters, and PhD 60,000 up to 120, 150,000. It all depends words that you may want to do. The more material you have, the better for you. So if your topic is such that will not allow you to have enough data, you cannot get enough literature, you are going to struggle and you may end up not finishing the program. Another thing is the number of research questions you raise and the number of articles or resources that can speak to them, or the access you have to materials and instruments in your lab will also determine how robust it can be, or whether it's going to be finishable or not finishable. If you have a good research title but you don't have good research question and you don't have apparatus or what it takes in your lab to do it, it will drag. If you are conducting a master degree study and your research is about a longitudinal study, meaning that you want to study people for a period of maybe 2-3 years, you know that automatically adopting a longitudinal study will elongate the study. So there is no a longitudinal approach will elongate the study. There is no need for that. You rather do a cross-sectional or you do a survey study, but by the time you are doing a longitudinal study, it means maybe you want to study them for 2-3 years. Automatically, you are the one that put yourself in the pipeline of a long thesis. So look at the title and look at the research questions you have. Those questions, can they be answered within the shortest period of time that you have at hand? If there are questions that will require data that you cannot gather within that period of time, automatically you will know that you can't finish within a record time. So ensure that the research question you are asking is such that can be answered within the shortest period you have at hand. Very, very important. The scope and the program alignment. Very, very important. Ensure that the study can be designed within that period and you can secure ethical approval within that period, and they can be executed within 12 months and 24 months for master and PhD respectively. And if you can devote between 10 to 15 hours per week to your thesis work, you can be sure you will finish within the shortest period of time. So another point you need to consider on finishability test is, do you have access to data? How readily do you have access to data? Very, very important. You need to consider that. If you don't have access to data, it becomes a problem. For example, if you are doing education and you want to conduct a study on university management, whatever in management or leadership, and your participants or the people that will respond to your questionnaire, they are VCs and rectors, you can be sure you will be there forever because they don't have time. So, and if you are in sciences and the kind of apparatus you need can only be found in Unilag and you are in Ekiti or you are in Osun, you know for sure that it's going to stress you. So do what is manageable within a reasonable period of time and that is still, rigor laden and can still prove that you did a thorough job. And if all of these are working against you, have a backup plan that if this does not work, I will switch to another one. And that has to be planned, and I don't see reason why anybody should go through that stress. From the onset, just do that. And again, if you are at a stage that this is giving you problem, access to data is giving you problem, there is nothing bad in writing back to your ethics committee to say there is a problem with the previous proposal, I need to make an amend. You can change your data collection sources to finish on time. So, colleagues, number 3, method and analytic capacity. Still talking about finishability. For you to finish in record time, there is a need for you to ensure that your design is clear. Your design is clear. You can, if somebody asks you what research design are you using, you should be able to state it categorically and expressly. Then the skill that is needed for data analysis is also very important. Are you contracting it out? If yes, fine. If you want to learn data analysis yourself, can you do that within 2 to 3 months to analyze your data? And you should be able to answer that question. I remember during my master's, I analyzed my data myself. I just put my head down and learned how to do that. And, I did quantitative in my master's. I did qualitative in my PhD. I analyzed my data in both. The reason for this is because I observed that not many researchers, not many postgraduate students are ready to learn data analysis. If you are still in that field or if you are still in that category, I beg of you, try and learn. Because if somebody analyzes a wrong data for you, you don't know how to interpret it. It doesn't make sense. In many cases, you will see that it is the person that analyzes your data that will write your chapter 5, 4, and 5. What then makes you a researcher? If you cannot interpret data, if you cannot write your results by yourself, if you cannot write your conclusion by your chapter 5 by yourself or thereabouts, it doesn't make you a good researcher. That is for those who want to go far in academia. If you are not ready to go far in academia, you can contract everything to people. But if you still want to be a good researcher and you want to make impact, I keep saying it, there are two people in academia. It's either you are there to survive or you are there to thrive. If you are there to survive, you can outsource everything to people. But if you are there to thrive, attract grants, prove your onions on global scale, you will be ready to know as much as you can, which is what I'm a fan of. So ideas, tools available for you to finish on time, please get this answered. And also the ethics and data collection. Colleagues, it is important for you to pay attention to ethics and data collection. You should be able to identify the risks that are associated with your work. It is possible for us to have come from a place where little attention is paid to ethics. Please, who is speaking?
What is your
So, it is possible for us to come from a balance or a place where little attention is paid to ethics and data protection, but when we get to other climes, if you want to play in a deep water, you will see that ethics is upheld with high standard. Meaning, the reason why we have pre-feed in most cases also is that the university want to see whether we align with ethics in terms of risk identification and alignment with institutional expectation, and of course compliance with societal expectations also. In research, ethics simply means you abide by the rule of the game and you are able to do this effectively. So for example, if your participants or your respondents are children, you must seek parental consent or guardian consent. How you are aligned with your institutional expectation and guidance is also very important. And of course, how you comply with privacy, anonymity, and consent and data storage is also important. These are the international form of confidentiality and privacy, GDPR, HIPAA. Institutional rules also matters. In Nigeria, we also have it. We have it in different countries. Different countries have names they call it, that you cannot expose people's identity on the platform of research without their consent. Even with their consent, identity is expected to be anonymous. And if you are using animals, you have to observe ethics. You don't subject animals to pain, unnecessary pains. And the last point on finishability is funding and resources. Do you have enough costs to cover this study? And are there hidden costs that are not readily visible or conspicuous at the moment? You need to consider all this. They will all contribute to how you are able to finish this. Oh, the last one. The last one is supervision and disciplinary feats. One of the reasons why many people cannot finish their thesis on time is because their supervisors are not grounded in that field. But ideally, in normal situation, before a student is assigned to a supervisor, the institution or department should have carried out their own analysis to know the area of expertise of supervisor before they assign students to them. But in a situation whereby there is a misalignment between the supervisor's area of expertise and the students, there will definitely be a problem. So it's either the student bent or the student stay there forever. So, but the moment there is an alignment between the supervisor area of expertise and the students, there is every likelihood that the committee on ethics will approve that topic. Otherwise, it's one of the reasons why students can stay forever. So, colleagues, this is how far we have been able to go. Can we just take 1 or 2 minutes break? If there's any question within that 1 to 2 minutes, somebody can raise a question, then we answer the question. And we may have to move to a place now where I don't want to keep us for too long anymore. So, colleagues, if you have questions, you can raise it and we tackle it. I can see the number is reducing because of electricity and all that. Yes.
Dr. Ogunwole on the line.
All right, doctor.
Please, is it all researchable questions that can be used, can we use hypothesis to solve?
If come again, please.
Is it all the researchable questions that we should use hypothesis to solve? Or
not all research questions. Like I said, if you are doing quantitative study, hypothesis will work. It depends on how you want to answer that research question or how you want to fill that gap. For instance, if you say there is a relationship, or if you say there is no relationship between A and B, or there is no significant relationship between A and B, it means you are stating an hypothesis. Hypothesis can be used to test whether there is a significant relationship between A and B. I'm talking A and B they are variables now. And if you are doing qualitative study where you have where you collect data in form of text or audio, you cannot use hypothesis. So simply put, hypothesis works in quantitative study. Hypothesis does not work, or we don't use hypothesis in qualitative study. It is when you want to test using data collected via either survey or lab work that you can use hypothesis. You want to test. Hypothesis is a probable statement that certain thing is true or certain thing is not true. So it is now when you now carry out a statistical analysis, whatever that statistics is saying, the result is saying, is what will be used to answer that hypothesis, whether the hypothesis is true or not. So not all research questions can be answered using hypothesis. Is that clear? Hello?
Okay. Thank you very much. Sir, yes, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Okay.
Please, I have 2 pertinent questions.
Please go ahead.
Okay, please, it's one. One is that I do this plan.
Come again.
That's number one. Number two.
Come again, please. You are breaking.
Okay, one is that I said the duration for the program was not stated.
For the which program?
At the beginning of the program. So for this training.
For today's training.
Yes, how long is going to last?
All right, we put 3.5 hours. But those who have attended our previous training, 3 hour, previous free training, they know sometimes it all depends on the capacity of your ability to stay. I'm seeing now we have 85 from 116. We may not be, our free training are always extensive. We have done 5 hours, 6 hours before, but we may have to round up anytime from now, because we know people are burning data and people are also burning electricity, which may not be available readily on their laptop. So we may have to round up soon, and at the same time, we also want you to know that we are having a program. I hope everybody is listening. If you want to be part of our free our 4 weeks training, let me. Okay, somebody is saying something that maybe we have to put it in a vote now. Some are saying that we should continue. Some are saying that saying something different. Do we continue, or we should just draw a curtain at this level?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
We have had enough. We have had enough for one day, please.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Continue. We have had enough for one day, please.
Remember,
Continue.
our free training.
We can break for now.
Hello.
Everybody, we should be saturated can leave. Another date for this, please. Everybody that is saturated can leave.
Let us fire on.
You see, colleagues,
Enough of the lecture for today. The law, the ministry,
Anybody that is tired can leave, sir.
Let's not get into voting.
now let's just do this. We know what to do. Hello. Hello.
Let's vote.
Hello.
I think it's time to know.
Let's call it a day. Let's call it a day. The ministry is not setting it.
All right.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Go ahead with your question, please.
Now, please, when we are discussing about question and hypothesis, some of the presentation we have had in the department, there is one of our supervisors that used to say that all research questions must be turned to hypothesis. And I want to ask, is it compulsory that when we have research questions, we must have the same number of research questions and same number of hypotheses?
That is.
And in view of that, I said hypotheses to the chat. How can we translate those hypotheses to research questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It's so simple. Any institution that does that, what they are trying to say is they call it one-to-one mapping, meaning you translate your research question. For example, if you say, what is the relationship between A and B? Your hypothesis will become there is no relationship between A and B. It's as simple as that. So eventually you will go ahead to test hypothesis, and that is all. When you test hypothesis, of course, at the end of the day, the research question is not always being attended to, but the hypothesis is what will be proven to answer that question. It all depends on how it's being written by institutions. But what I'm saying in essence is that it is acceptable, especially in social sciences, in education, in humanities, they do that a lot. So one-to-one mapping is you are translating your research question to that, but it's more or less a repetition. Thank you. Colleagues, in order not to Hello? Hello, colleagues. In order not to... Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Can I ask this question, sir?
Go ahead.
Okay. When you have your objectives and you have your hypothesis, now let's go to methodology. How will you know the type of analytical that you should use statistical analysis to use to test the hypothesis.
All right. Ideally,
Can get any material that can help. Hello, sir.
yes.
If you can get any material to read to help on those, that will be the very beautiful something, sir.
Thank you so much. There are materials we will share, but there are materials we will share with those who are interested in our training. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to pin you down or to actually force somebody to register for the training. We have a handful number of people that we can train, but those are some of the materials we will share during the training on what method or what research question work for which methodology and all that. There are materials about them, and you can reach out to us on one-on-one basis. We can take it from there, but it's not what we can cover in this training for today. It's a whole lot on its own. It's a topic on its own. So, colleagues,
Please, sir.
hello.
Hello, sir. Before you conclude, sir. If I have to, before you conclude, sir.
I'm listening.
Can I speak? If there is any reason that makes me to join these trainings, that's one of the most important. So if you have any place for such, please kindly, I will contact you one-on-one.
All right.
I'm interested in knowing it.
The reason is what I'm saying is we cannot cover all that in one day training. It is not something that we can cover in one day training. We will ensure that anybody, I don't want to sound salesy now. When I mean salesy, as if I'm selling something. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just trying to say objectively, those are the things we cover in our training. Like I said, it's not binding or it's compulsory, and we are not hiding information from people.
You have to sell it. I'm sorry to intercept you.
Okay.
I'm sorry to intercept you. This is your business. Every one of us on this platform, we have our businesses, and buy what we are. Those who are interested in buying that thing knows the values on themselves. You said it time that it's not good for anyone to be looking for somebody to help them analyze their data and interpret it. And that's the first step. If you don't know the particular statistical something for your that is best for your question, you always be in need. If you have to sell it, let us have a training and pay for it. I don't even want free.
All right.
How to determine, identify that type of what they call it?
The statistical method.
Chapter 3, the downloading of statistical method. Put money on it. I will pay my own.
All right.
And I want it after this free training. And whoever is interested, let it be for sale. Because everything that gets free may not be of importance, please.
Thank you so much.
Mind it. It's a must.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you for the sincerity and for chipping in that. Thank you so much. We really appreciate. And for the sake, let me just chip this in at this point. For the sake of those who might be interested in the 1 month training, the link to register for it has been dropped in the chat box right now, and the training ordinarily is for 60,000. But for those who will register between now and today is 13th, for those who will register as early as possible, the late registration, the early bird registration, between today 15th and today 13th and the 20th of this month, they can have it for 38,500. That's the price tag. Between now and December 20th, we are putting the price tag at 38,500. And for those who will register thereafter, after 20th, the price goes back to 60,000 naira. That's the price. But for early registrants, it's for 38,000. We have dropped the link in the box. The link is there, and Dr. Enebe, please share the link in the WhatsApp group also for those who are interested. And the page is what you have on the screen. Let me see. This is how the page looks like for those who are interested. It's going to cover virtually everything we have talked about in details within the period of 4 months. So whoever is interested can can key into that. Yes, I'm listening, please.
Now, sir, we thank you for this opportunity and the privilege given to us. Please, however, I want to ask, please, for God's sake, like the issue of turning researchers and applications to each other. I just want to add that in this situation, how can we turn this application to research question? There is no significant main effect of team by self individualization, team game tournament, and student division, and conventional continuous secondary school student achievement in mathematics and retention in mathematics.
Is that one research?
How can we turn it to research question?
Is that one research question?
Hello, sir.
Is that just one research
It's an
question?
hypothesis. I said it's an hypothesis. How can we turn it to research question?
That hypothesis is not valid. It's too long. Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's too long. Of course, what you have just said now is simple to turn it to a research question, but in many cases, it is research question you turn into hypothesis, but it's so small. I'm sorry, that's not an issue. The issue I have with the hypothesis you have just stated now is that it's too clumsy. Those that attended our training will understand that there is a way you validate research question. We have our criteria for validating research question. You have sub question you have, what is the right name that we usually call this thing? Double barrel. There is what is called double barrel in research question. There are many questions that are in that one hypothesis, or many hypotheses that can be drawn from that one hypothesis you have just mentioned. An hypothesis or a research question should be straightforward, simple to understand without being cumbersome. What you have said is cumbersome. That is where to start from. So, for example, if you state the first part, all you just need to do is an English matter. Just turn it around to a question. If you say there is no correlation, or there is no significant difference between so and so, if you want to turn it to a research question, all you need to do is to say, what is this relationship between, or what is the relationship between A and B? I can't remember the hypothesis you use now. What is, do you get what I'm saying now? You have turned it to a question.
It is issue of main effect. In this case, we are using main effect.
Main effect. What is main effect?
Main effect of team assistant, team games tournament, and student achievement division.
All right. I think my explanation covers that. When you say there is no relationship between, or no significant difference, all you need to do, if you want to make it a question, is there a significant relationship between, or is there a significant difference between so and so? It's as simple as that. Just put it in a question form. Yeah. So.
Okay,
Yes.
sir.
Sorry, that link you sent is showing in dollars.
Please, when you get there,
Showing $50.
when you get there, before the $50, just drop down. There's an arrow before it. You will drop you can see select your currency up.
Okay.
Above it. You have US dollar, you have South African rand, Ghana cedis, and Kenya.
Okay.
So just click on any of them and and make payment. And if you need a bank account, just chat with the admin in the group, and they will give you we'll give you a bank account you can make payment to directly. So either of the two, you can make payment using the platform, and you can as well make payment by transfer. We'll supply a bank details to you. Dr. Enebe, are you there, please?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
I think it's good to come on.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Transfer.
The account number, right?
Yes, directly, so that it will be easier for transfer.
All right. Dr. Nembe, do you have the account details with you?
I will look for that.
Okay.
If
Maybe
you
I
have
should.
it handy, you can send it to me.
All right. Let me drop it. Let me drop it. And whoever wants to use bank details can go ahead and that. In Ghana cedis, somebody is asking how much in Ghana cedis. When you drop, let me drop this. In Ghana cedis, it is 500 Ghana cedis. Yeah, 500 Ghana cedis. Yeah, let me just quickly run through the stuff. Ghana cedis, South African rand is 500 rand. Ghana cedis, it is 500 Ghana cedis, and 550 rand for those in South Africa, and for those in Kenya, 4,500 Kenya shillings. I'm going to drop the bank details here now. Just a moment.
I'm sorry, field of study is like is like the program we are doing, right?
Come again, please.
Field of study is the program we are doing.
Field of study.
Yes.
That's not clear,
That's
please.
the program, right? On the form, there's something called field of study. On the
Yeah. The program we are doing. That's true. The program we are doing.
okay.
Yeah. Just a minute, please. I'm dropping the 5310053156887. And
subject area.
bank.
Your subject area.
Bank is a GTB. So the banking details has been dropped in the chat box. Please, you can pick it from there. And of course, if you want to request for it privately on the chat in the box, I mean in the WhatsApp group, you can always do that. So colleagues, we understand how straight. Yes.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
I'm with you,
Hello,
sir.
sir.
Yes.
Can we
Come again.
add that?
You are breaking, please. You are breaking. Hello. That person is breaking. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yes. I'm hearing you now. I was not hearing you before. Can I hear you?
Hello.
Please go ahead.
Hello, doctor.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Hello. What's that?
Hello, sir.
Yes, I can hear you. But just one is like my screen.
Yes, why the
Go ahead.
presentation was going on?
Yes.
We have the audio record of the presentation.
You are saying you want the audio recording. Hello? Hello?
We can't hear you.
You can hear me? Let me. Hello? Am I audible?
You made mention of the fact that you are doing the recording. I now want to ask whether you can get the recorded version of the presentation.
We'll put it on. We'll put it on the
I'm
train.
asking if you can get.
We will put it online and let you see the link. We'll upload it for you to see.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You are most grateful, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Sir.
All right, Dr. Salami, Dr. Aminus, Dr. Insikaku.
Well done, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So, Is anybody asking a question?
Yeah, Doc.
Please go ahead.
Hello. Yes, I had a question. Hello, Doc.
Yes, I'm with you.
Thank you for the insightful on this.
You're welcome.
Doc, I'm doing the econometric analysis on my thesis.
Okay.
And what happened is that I don't have
You are breaking.
my capacity on.
You are breaking.
E-views. Need to e-views. Is it ethical use? Tell me.
You are breaking. Please come again. If you want to talk, please let's do it one after the other. We can raise up our hand so that we call names one after the other. Raise up your hand if you have a question.
Yeah. Can I go on?
Go on. You are not audible enough. If you are using a mouthpiece, you can remove it.
Hello.
Hello.
No. If you want.
If you are using a mouthpiece, remove it. We are not hearing you. Hello. Go ahead.
Can I go? My hand is up.
Go on.
Hello.
Go on. Go on. Hello. I can't hear.
Okay, thank you, Doc, for the insightful. Yeah, I'm doing econometric analysis.
Okay.
And Chris.
So can I ask my question?
Please go ahead. That person is breaking. We can hear you.
Okay, sir. It has to do with chapter 2, that's literature review.
Okay.
In the literature review, we have what we call conceptual review and conceptual framework.
Yeah.
I know more about review. It has to do with the literature aspect of the concept that is under review.
Okay.
But when it comes to conceptual framework, what are the components? Conceptual framework has to do with the sketch, kind of diagrammatic representation of the variables.
Yes.
And how do we go about constructing it? That's my problem. How do we go about constructing it to get the maximum out of this? Thank you very much.
You're welcome. A conceptual framework is a diagrammatic representation of how different constructs in your study connect together, and they have to be based on the constructs or the variables that are involved in your study. What you want to do is you want to prove that this variable connects to this variable to give us this output. Or if these variables are connected together, this is what we should expect. In many cases, they are tentative postulation of how different variables or constructs in your study connect together. Do you get what I'm saying now? So, in doing that, it is a representation of your postulation. It is a representation of what you want to prove. You are the one saying, okay, the variable A, if connected to variable B and C, will give us this result. Do you get what I'm saying now? So is your own makeup, but in some cases you can also adapt a framework. That is, if a framework has been established by a researcher and you see that it fits into your work, you can adapt it, but you have to acknowledge that you adapt it in your study. It simply means that every variable in that, every component in that framework must also be present in your work, or a good number of variables in that conceptual framework must also be present in your work. They should be able to explain your work. That's how it works. Yes. So, colleagues, we can see that to a very good number of people, law of diminishing return as 13. We may not be able to push beyond this point. As for us, those who have attended our training knows we can go as much as 5 hours, 6 hours. We are not tired. We are also cognizant of the fact also that while teaching, there is a point that law of diminishing return sets in. But at this level of study, a long training should not intimidate us. But since that is the case in this case, we may have to draw a curtain. We have more to offer, but it's like there is little to contain what we have to offer from your side. But basically, those who are interested in our January training, they should go ahead and enroll for it. And I can assure you, all right, please go ahead. You will not regret it. Aminus Hasu, Benjamin Abomirigo, and Isiaku, we see you. Please go ahead. Hello, we are not hearing you. Mr. Salami, we are not.
Thank you, Doc. My question is it ethically responsible or right?
To do what?
Yeah. Hello. I said, is it ethically right to use AI to generate scripts and then run it with e-views in your data analysis?
To generate what?
Yes, sir. I don't know if you can hear.
To generate what? You are not audible again. Yes, your question is not clear. You are asking if it's ethically. This is not, we are not hearing you. Please, you can go ahead. The next person can go ahead and ask a question if you have a question if you have any question. His question is not clear. Mr. Yes. Aminus.
Is it ethically right to use AI to generate scripts and run in the e-views?
To generate scripts
in your data for your data analysis.
To use AI to generate what? To generate what? Please, if somebody can hear him, the person should help him out. I'm not hearing that.
Right. To use AI to generate. Okay.
Yes, sir.
To generate
Hello, sir.
what?
Can you hear me? Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Sir, I appreciate you for this presentation and this workshop. I have a question, sir.
Go ahead, please.
Going by the ethical issues in research.
Okay.
I don't know whether you have.
Whether I have what? Hello.
Hello, sir.
Individual put it on the chat box.
Can you
technically correct?
Can you put it in chat box? You are breaking. We are not hearing you. Hello. We are not hearing. Is it me now or you?
Can you take it from my angle?
We've not.
Are you hearing me, Doc?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, can I go ahead?
He said you should put it.
Hello, sir. Can I go ahead?
Please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Sir, I have to appreciate you for this presentation. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Do you have any
Do we have my network is fine? Do we have any what?
Yes, any similarity index software like the Eagle Scan for us to send our article.
If you want that service, if you want that service, if you want that service,
we have no
yeah,
problem with that.
yeah, you can reach out to us. We'll render such service. We can run similarity check for you. Hello? We'll run similarity check for you if you need such service. I hope that is clear. Hello?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Network.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Colleagues?
It's okay.
Yeah. So we have shared that we have shared the link for registration in this platform, and we're also sharing it on the WhatsApp group. Dr. Nebe, please share it in the WhatsApp group and note that it is for registration purpose.
Your explanation
why this break?
Conceptual review. When that man asked different.
Why the network? Please, is there? Unfortunately, I seem not to be hearing you now.
Why? You understood that conception. Hello, sir. Hearing me from your end? Hello, sir.
Hello.
Your explanation, your thumb on the conception. Sorry.
Let me connect to my MTN and see if it will work. I've connected to my MTN now. Hello, colleagues, can you hear me now? Hello, colleagues, can you hear me now? Hello, am I audible? Hello, colleagues.
Yes, Doc, you're audible.
All right,
Yeah,
all
I'm
right.
hearing you.
All
Yes,
right.
we are hearing you now.
Okay, better.
The question I asked the other time, sir, was that when that man asked about difference between conceptual review, I got the explanation of conceptual framework to be the geometric representation of the variables. So what of conceptual review?
Conceptual review simply means it depends on what you are looking at. If you say conceptual review, there is what is called conceptual article. Conceptual review simply means you are in the context of a thesis. It simply means you are writing based on ideology, based on concept definitions, and not based on conceptual evidence. Meaning, whatever you are writing is based on how individual conceptualize the concepts you are addressing at that point in time. And that is why I mentioned the other time that some institutions will say separate conceptual literature review from conceptual review. Conceptual review means, empirical review simply means you are bringing out evidences from studies that have been conducted to say the concepts that I reviewed earlier, we have Dr. Elembe, please, can you respond to the chat? Somebody is citing something in the chat, please. It simply means that you are using empirical study to buttress the conceptual literature. The conceptual review means it is an ideology. For example, if you are talking about a particular concept, what can I use now? Just think about any concept. If you will understand that the way people define concept, the way authors define concept varies slightly from one particular author to the other. It depends on how they conceptualize that particular concept. So it comes to that. But when it comes to empirical review, it simply means you are bringing out reviews from studies that were empirically carried out. That is the explanation I have for that. I hope that is clear. Prof. Timothy, please, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello, doctor.
Good evening, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Oh, we are still in the afternoon. Yeah.
We are still in the afternoon. How is it, sir?
It's very, very fine. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Sorry, I just lifted up my hand wanting to make maybe a little request, maybe a little suggestion, sir.
Okay, sir.
I've seen that I want to appreciate you and thank you for all that you have taken us through since morning when we started.
Thank you, sir.
I see that it is seriously an intensive training. And the way I look at it now, even I pity you yourself, because for somebody to be talking for more than 5 hours at a stretch, I don't know, it must have taken a lot of your strength.
Thank you, sir.
So my suggestion in this regard is that I am thinking that if it is going to be this long for the training, can we break it? Like say, okay, maybe we make it 2 Saturdays consecutively if we want to do it. Or if peradventure you want to choose a particular weekend, but we can make it 2 days. Because I know that all that you want to teach us now, you've not been able to cover it. And I know you are so eager to let us know all these things, which we appreciate a lot. So that is my suggestion on the one hand, that maybe we break it into about 2 days. But not only that, seeing the value of what you are giving to us in the training.
Yes,
I wouldn't know, maybe other people in the house can contribute. If it will be necessary for us to pay just a token, we know that at least you are spending your data, you are spending your time, you are giving us your knowledge and not the rest like that. I think it will not be out of place if we are to pay a little token for it. Then we make it about 2 days, and then we'll be able to enjoy you very well. It's just a suggestion, sir.
Thank you so much, Prof. I appreciate, sir. Thank you for your word of encouragement. Thank you for your support as always. Thank you, sir. The issue is the free training. We usually have it in 1 day, and we keep telling people. Now you can see the reality of what we started with. When people start blaming the lecturer for for what can be mitigated against. Blaming the supervisor. If somebody offered to train for free and we have been saying that it's going to be intensive, I thank God you have been part of our 2 free training. One lasted for 5 hours, the other lasted for 6 hours, and people stayed. Now we are offering a training that is still not up to 4 hours, and people are complaining that it's too long. So is it those people you will have to contribute that will contribute? Can you see the challenge now? What you are offering free of charge, and they are still complaining. So, we'll look into that, sir.
It's okay.
We'll look into that, and we'll let you know. Maybe in our subsequent training, what we can do is, in the subsequent free training, we can make it Saturday and Sunday evening. I think that will be fine.
Okay.
For those who will.
It's okay.
Yes, I think that idea will be fine. Saturday and Sunday evening. Okay. Maybe that's what we're going to do. Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes, because your health is also very, very important.
Thank you so
much.
When
you stress yourself for a very long time like that, you are a woman being. You need to rest. So this is just why I'm bringing that suggestion. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. We understand. Thank you. We really appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, colleagues, we may have to draw the curtain right now. Those who are interested in the training, we have dropped the curtain. Sorry, we have dropped the process for registration, and that, as we have said, the discounted price lasts until 20th of this month, while the price goes back to 60,000 as from December 21st. So there is no review there is no discount as from 21st of this month. Please take note of that. And the training starts the first week in January, run through the first week in February, before we kickstart our article writing training. Thank you so much for coming, and we hope to see those who registered in.
I appreciate you so seriously, sir.
You're welcome, sir. So,
don't be disappointed with those that left.
It's
we
fine.
Value the training than ourselves.
Thank you so much.
So we are still committed to it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So, colleagues, thank you so much.
May Allah continue to
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes, you are well done.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doc.
Bye.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you. God bless.
I really appreciate the class.
Thank you.
God, thank you so much for your time.
Amen.
Look forward to see you again.
Amen. Thank you.
We are waiting for you to leave before we leave.
Oh, okay. Let me end the call now so that everybody can rest.
We didn't hear Dr. Enebe's voice again. What happened?
Dr. Enebe, please, can you say hello to everyone?
Dr. Enebe has got mute.
You should have heard her voice.
Where's your session again now? Where's your own session?
It's having all
I said you people did not allow her to take her session. Even I have not finished my session, but people are complaining they are tired.
No, people like us, people like us spend time on the other now. And the 500 days, so.
We are ready to move on.
We will push next time. We will push next
Thank you
time.
so much. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Like Prof said, if I've given us
I don't know this dog.
Sorry?
You spent hours here the whole time, and we didn't complain.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you all of you for still holding on till now. We appreciate your presence. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you very much.
We thank you. We thank you, man. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Yeah.
So see you at training.
Yeah, in January. See you in January. Yeah.
All right, see you in January. All right, I'm leaving now.
Any code. Nobody wants
Or do you want to continue the class with us?
No, let's end the call.
Continue with us.
Let's end the call. We'll see you in January. We'll see you in January. Bye.
Okay.
Bye. Hmm?
Yeah, no, like I want to straight away. Eh? You end up with the voice again. What gang come? Ejo was together. What try you? Ṣé fún ní àwọn doctor níbẹ̀ ní nǹkan but because bó ṣe coordinate wọlé gan then bó tún ṣe hand gan no. No. Ó ti rẹ everybody náà. Àwọn mélòó ló ṣàrà àwọn number of kí n tó pa yín hand.
So about 50 people here.
Father, I give you the glory for this. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Lára àwọn tó dí òwe ẹ̀ǹdẹ̀ gan sídà kí dátà wọn tán àbí kí náà kú.
Of course, ẹ̀ pé wọ́n lè má expect yẹn pé.
Àwọn kan ti ń complain gan pé laptop wọn pé wọ́n ti fẹ́ kú o.
Ọlọ́run ṣe. We ascribe the glory back to you. Ìyẹn lè ṣe yìí o, kò sí àwọn mi o. Blessed be your name, God.